What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Viall Files. I'm your host, Nick, joined by Allie and Amanda. Ladies, how are you?
Just thriving.
Yeah, I was in the Redwoods for the weekend.
Yeah,
How's that?
you were up north.
It was awesome. It was so good. I thought it would just be like more of a trip focused on like seeing the boyfriend, but as like a vacation itself, phenomenal.
Well, I went to Harry Styles on Friday.
Wow.
That was fun, wearing the shirt.
That's an
Lovely.
amazing shirt.
I got the hoodie, too. I have the t-shirt and the hoodie. He's an incredible performer. We had amazing seats. It was great. There was a gender reveal. That was fun. We saw these ladies on TikTok because he does the whole thing where he reads the signs. You know, he takes a break and then people have their signs and clearly the signs are trying to get Harry to notice them. So he's already trying to pick the most clever signs. There was one and these, we found them on TikTok because they did a TikTok about it. But their sign was, it was two women with their dad. I don't know how old they were. But their sign was, "This is our dad, but you are our daddy."
Love that.
It was really quite fun. And they made a fun TikTok about it. Let me see. Natalie sent it to me. Their names were, Mary Sheets. Mary Sheets made a TikTok about it. So
Ooh.
Mary Sheets, I believe her sister and her dad, handsome fellow. I don't know, Natalie said at the concert, he's kind of sexy.
The dad?
Yeah.
Oh,
He looks like a handsome guy,
yeah.
but it was fun. I had a good time.
Love it.
Thanks to SeatGeek. They hooked it up. We had great seats.
No, I saw it on your Instagram. I flew home for a surprise party for my mother's 60th. Planned a whole party. Flew across the country. It was an ordeal because I flew home. My sister and her now husband flew home, but we had to coordinate a lot of things. So I had your party the night before. Went to bed at 1:30. Woke up at 3:30 for my 6 a.m. flight. I was thriving. Flew home.
You went home to Minnesota this weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
My dad picked me up. We went to the balloon store. We then went to the venue, set up the whole room, went to lunch and got 2 rounds of drinks at 2 p.m. because that's what my dad and I do. And then he went back to work, but I was just sitting in their house waiting. Like I was like, my mom might just come home early from work. So that was my panic. So then I cleaned up everything. I put all my luggage in my closet because I wanted to surprise her at the dinner. So if she came home early, surprise was over. But I had to think through everything. Like I dumped my glass into the sink and I was like, well, I can't put my glass in the dishwasher. So I put it back in the cupboard and then got it later that night because it was dirty. But I was really trying to think everything through. I did a whole vacuum so that Kiki's hair wouldn't give it away. And then I hid at the neighbor's house and watched my mom from across the street. And then my sister and her husband landed at like 7:15. The dinner started at 7. They Ubered straight there. I met them in the parking lot, put their bags in the trunk, and then we walked in like it was the most natural thing.
I feel like you're describing this like a heist in the best way.
It was
like a heist.
Have you ever watched your parents in their own home from across the street? It's really great. It's fun.
A huge success.
It was a great success. She
Wonderful.
cried. Yeah. It was a good
We
time.
love moms.
We love a good happy story.
Happy 60th.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of you want a little more discourse about the cuties scene on the Love is Blind finale reunion. And I made a TikTok about this, but I feel like the biggest takeaway was just how many people's opinions changed by seeing a 2.5 minute clip, you know? And I think that's just a good reminder that while these are fun, entertaining shows, and we love to break them down, and we love to critique these behaviors and be snarky and have fun, and that's all great, and we do it on both The Bachelor, and we do it on Love is Blind, but it just goes to show you just how much a 2.5 minute scene can change your point of view, and how much context can change your opinion. Not everyone's opinions change. I know I make those, everyone's like, well, you didn't change my opinion, and I'm always like, congratulations for your opinion. It's just like...
Early adapter.
Yeah, wonderful. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's what we shared last week. I think Zenab is someone who's seems to have a lot of insecurities that existed before she went on the show, and it seems like Cole triggered some of those insecurities, but I don't think he's solely responsible for them. And she, again, we talked about, she seemed like she wanted to blame all that on him, but that's not without Cole. Like, clearly they're just not compatible. And what happened 2.5 minutes after that cutie scene, or 2.5 minutes before, and the music that is played on these, in these scenes heightens, these shows are meant to trigger y'all, it's meant to trigger us. So And I thought about this yesterday, and I get it, right? Like when we watch like movies and TV shows that show two people fighting with ominous, suspenseful music, usually someone like dies at the end of that scene or something horrific happens. They want us to be triggered, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we know that what happens, or someone's an abuser or someone's a narcissist. I think we just need to, bring it back just a little bit. And again, I think can break down these scenes and critique these people's behaviors, and we can make guesses on how we think they are as partners, but they are just guesses. And so, yeah, I think that's my thought on the cutie scene. But yeah, I don't think they're compatible, and I never thought Cole was responsible for Zenob's insecurities, and after seeing the cutie scene, it solidified that. And I think he needs to be more self-aware about how he speaks to people in general about eating habits, and he needs to be self-aware that if you make a comment about someone's looks and you rate them as a number, that there's going to be residual effects to that and how you communicate with that person in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And if they come with insecurities, it's only going to snowball even more. And I don't think Cole's responsible for that, but I think he needs to recognize the impact those comments have on anyone, let alone people who might come in with
it's like preconceived notions, pre-existing
insecurities. I don't know. And I know we got a lot of questions too about, like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, the whole cast owes Cole an apology. And then since then, like, Zenham put out a post that she's not sorry.
Yeah.
And I think Alexa and some of the other women have come forward.
Yeah, Zenab said, I'm sorry you weren't in that relationship. I'm sorry you didn't feel what I felt. I'm sorry we don't have the same triggers. I'm sorry me standing up for myself offended you so greatly. I'm sorry you didn't see all the reasons for what I said. I'm sorry you didn't live that with me. I'm sorry you don't know me.
I mean, no accountability.
Yeah.
But par for the course.
And then Alexa said, there will be no apology from me. There are multiple reasons why we stuck by her. We spent almost every day together, so I will not take advice from anyone who was not there. There are two sides to the story, and I still stand by what I said. The Clementine story is irrelevant. I don't like bullies, and I will always stand for those who are in the right. It's truly heartbreaking to see how low and disgusting the internet can be. I hope you feel better after commenting such vile things. I do agree with that. Like, we weren't there.
Sure.
Yeah.
But what I don't like about it, I hate it when the people on reality TV don't give me the whole, like, there's things that happen that you don't know. If you're going to say that, just fucking say what happened. Like, you don't get these cryptics like, well, there's just things, when she's like, when you're ready to talk about it. I think it's such a convenient thing to say those things because they kind of almost come across as like veiled threats or whatever. Like, if you're going to just say it. If you're going to make an accusation like that, just say what they did or say nothing at all. In reality, if people ask me what I thought about that, like, I think they're just being friends with their friend. They're being girls. They're being loyal to their friend, and I have no problem with that.
I would do the same.
No, but also, like, and I believe,
we all would. We would all stand up for our friends.
Listen, they've heard Zenob's story. There probably are two sides to every story, but they're going to have their girls back. And there's probably other things that happen that we didn't know, but I'm sure, because they're friends with Zenab, and I've heard the women are very close, they're going to be biased towards Zenab, and that's what friends do. When it comes to choosing a wireless plan, you're forced to compromise. But what if you didn't have to? What if you could get reliable service without a contract and save money? Introducing Total by Verizon, a new no-contract, no-credit check carrier for you and your family with plans starting at just $30 per month on America's most reliable 5G network. Sacrifice nothing, experience everything. Total by Verizon is available at totalbyverizon.com and at retailers nationwide. Based on first-place rankings and Root Metrics first half 2022 5G assessments of 125 metros. Experiences vary, not an endorsement. When it comes to upgrading your space, Brooklyn has you covered and accessorized and super cozy. And right now, all of their home essentials are on sale for Black Friday/Cyber Monday. It's almost that time of year again, so let the gift shopping begin. Brooklinen is the place to get presents that are somehow perfect for all of your people, right on time, stress-free. I mean, Brooklinen has the best sheets, the best hand towels, the best loungewear. It truly is an amazing gift for him, for her, for all the people truly in your family. They do have great other things like candles, beach towels if you want to get ready for the summer. Maybe you're taking a vacation. Think of Brooklinen beach towels. Truly everything they have is magnificent, soft, luxurious on your body. It feels great. It's super affordable. They cut out the middleman. And now they're having a Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale, and they don't usually have sales. Make your holiday even happier with the help of the internet's favorite, Brooklinen. Brooklinen's Friday Cyber Monday sale is only for a limited time, and the deals don't get any better. And if you happen to have missed it out, just use promo code VIALLFILES. Visit brooklinen.com to get $20 off. Free shipping on orders of $100 or more with code VIALLFILES. That's BROOKLINEN.com, brooklinen.com.
I also just think like because dating is such a like nightmare shit show dumpster fire these days, like I think we want to look for absolutes and wrongs and rights because then it makes us feel like, okay, we can like start to decipher this insane calculus problem when like in actuality, so much of it is like not a right or wrong. It's just an incompatible and different realities.
Yeah.
Like for me, the cutie scene was that it was just like utterly different realities. Like I see how Cole had truly no like clue how that comment could have had an impact. I see how Zenab like how that comment like cut to the core of a lot of stuff she was like feeling and dealing with. And so it's
two completely different planets. Like how, and you could see it. It was almost like a relationship or an acting exercise where you see certain lines hit the other person in a way that they weren't necessarily intended to. It was so clear that they were on just two completely different pages of how that conversation
It seemed like
happened.
Cole was like when she was like, when he was like, oh, don't ruin your appetite. We've all told people, hey, like, oh, we have dinner coming up.
Appetito, as he says.
Yeah, don't ruin your appetite, whatever. And he probably wasn't thinking how she might receive it. He clearly hasn't spent a lot of time trying to empathize with people.
Well, and her saying, oh, I would like, she had some vague phrase of, oh, I would go into it, but I don't know if you want me to, or something along those lines. And then he jumped straight into, oh, are you getting wedding dress ready? Like, it just, everyone was everywhere all at once.
Yeah, but then she was like, well, I haven't eaten all day. And then his look was like shock. He's like, well, why? Because he was confused. He didn't understand. It was just like a genuine interest. He didn't think it was some big thing. Again, I think they couldn't be more incompatible. Regardless of his mistakes, do you think at the reunion, Cole gave, at least from his point of view, a genuine apology? Do you think he was sincerely sorry for like realizing that whether he meant to or not, he had said things that hurt her feelings? Do you think he was genuine?
I do. Or I think it was at least rooted in...
Yeah. I'm not saying it was the perfect apology. I'm just saying it came from like, hey, wow, I guess I've really fucked up. I'm sorry.
Well,
I hope you forgive
me. I like that he did say like, not even what he did, but I like how he mentioned watching it back was so hard for him because clearly, I don't know why that to me adds to the, what am I trying to say?
sincerity?
Yeah. Adds to the sincerity. Like clearly, because I think it'd be one thing if he like, obviously he didn't know when, I don't know what I'm trying to say. In retrospect, I think it's even more impressive that like he could go through that not knowing it, rewatch, and have a completely different opinion.
Yeah. That's what I wish for Zenab. Again, I don't think there's a good or bad guy here. I think these are flawed people who could benefit from therapy, as we all could if we have the means. But I feel like, from my point of view, Zenab loses credibility by doubling down on the I don't owe anyone an apology. I'm not apologizing for anything. And it's just like, whoa, wait, anything? Nothing at all? You can't just throw out I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry for anything I did. That doesn't, like Zenab's talking in these absolutes, like if I apologize to you, then that discredits the apology that you owe me. Because I don't doubt that Cole wronged Zenab in some ways. And I don't doubt that maybe there's something else that we didn't get to see that also offended Zenab and that she hopes that hoping that Cole should apologize for or talk about whatever she was alluding to. But this idea that she's somehow completely off the hook or has done nothing wrong and all of her mistakes are all like fly under the umbrella of I was standing up for myself or in a blah, 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 blah. And I had my reasons to say the insensitive things or to nitpick or to nag or belittle or to condescend. That's where she loses me. And I just wish, like I said last week, that she would just recognize that she probably made some mistakes too. I think that would go a long way for her credibility in who we should believe. Because when someone's like, I did nothing wrong, then it's just like, okay, well, how am I supposed to believe if you can't see that you made at least a mistake.
It really reminds me of when I was a kid. Like sometimes my brother and I would like get into fights about stuff, and like I would be like, "But he started it," and my dad would always be like, "It takes two to tango," and I was just like, "What?" Like I was like, "That is bullshit. Like, what do you mean it takes two to tango? This man took the last cookie." Like, you know, like that was the mindset I had, and I didn't. It's like not until I got like so much older and like more mature to be like,
"Oh, I didn't have to respond to that."
Yeah, just like kind of separating that like initial infraction from like all the stuff that transpired, like just like separating it.
And that's my biggest red flag for Zena, the fact that she's so reluctant to have any accountability, like says something, right? Like there's clearly a fear. It's just like, well, if I have to apologize, then, you know.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of the perfectionism that again, like we saw in like the ways that she felt upset when Cole wasn't doing anything up to her standard, where I think she is someone who like has to live in this absolute of like,
because otherwise she has to face her insecurities or whatever it is that she is trying to avoid. Her lack of accountability is her trying to avoid something. I don't know what it is.
This is making me think about the fact that like, and we talk about this all the time, like how when someone is defensive, you're probably not going to get through to them. Like once you trigger like the bear, like you're probably not going to change minds. The best you can do is hope the bear doesn't attack. And it's so interesting to me that we live in this world where like we're constantly trying to like with cancel culture, like that's really just an attempt at like trying to be more thorough of calling out infractions and trying to like improve our overall behavior. But in doing so, we're constantly trigger or like attack defense mode, which is like so not conducive to anybody. Like you need to feel like empathized with and like you need to feel really safe to admit you were wrong. And we're like creating this, I don't know, I just think it's a wild time we live in.
Yeah. Well, those are our thoughts.
I went home this weekend for my mother's surprise party and I used my away suitcase. I just opened that baby up on the floor, filled the entire left side with all of the decor. Then I filled the other side with all the stuff I needed, packed it up. I always put my dog on top because it is that smooth of a ride. And let me tell you, Kiki made a lot of friends.
It's a great ride. And away you went.
And away we both went.
Pun intended. We're talking about away luggage. It's amazing. It's durable. It's smooth. It's amazing what you can pack in it. Super efficient. We love it. I am amazed how good my away suitcase still looks.
Totally. And it still glides
I've had
really
it for
well.
3 years.
Like
3
not
years
only does
now?
it look good, it still functions super high.
I've had it for 3 years. It's incredible. It really is great.
And even if anything should happen to it, which I doubt.
Lifetime warranty.
Nailed it.
Lifetime warranty. They have TSA-approved combination locks that keep your belongings safe. They're perfectly sized, so they're never going to tell you that it's too large.
I literally had that moment this weekend. I was flying like a dinky little airline that goes to like a specific small town in Northern California, and I was like, uh-oh, like, is my bag going to fit despite myself, even though I knew? And I put it in the exact dimensions. Exactly. Not an issue in the world.
There's a 100-day trial on everything Away makes. Take the product out on the road, live with it, travel with it, get lost with it for 100 days. And if you decide it's not for you, you can return it. Anything that's non-personalized for a full refund during that period. No ifs, ands, or asterisks. Away offers free shipping and returns on any order within the contiguous U.S., Europe, Canada, and Australia, except for personalized products. This holiday season, gift away at awaytravel.com/VIALL. That is awaytravel.com/VIALL. Give the gift of an amazing story to your loved ones. If you have people in your family that, you know, maybe if they have everything they can afford because maybe they have the means and they're one of those people that whatever they want, they just buy. Well, give the gift of thoughtful stories like Storyworth. I've told you this story already, but we got this from my dad. We love hearing stories from my parents' childhood and my uncles and aunts and grandparents. And if you have loved ones that you maybe don't connect with as often as you want and you want to give them the gift of memories, think of Storyworth. It's so great. First, they prompt you that person with questions, you know, like what was the most memorable like first date you ever had, things like that. And some really thought-provoking questions. And the people you gift this to will answer these questions. And then they put it into like a really memorable keepsake to give to anyone in the family. It's something you guys can cherish forever. It's a great gift to like give to your kids. You know, maybe it's a gift from your grandparents. Maybe it's like, you know, imagine giving a gift to your kids that your parents or your grandparents gave of like lessons learned and things like that maybe you gift to them like their 16th birthday or their graduation party and be like, hey, this was a gift from grandpa, and I didn't tell you about it. What a thoughtful, memorable gift. It's truly meaningful. It's something that money can't buy, but you can buy Storyworth. With Storyworth, I have given those I love the most a thoughtful and personal gift in preserving their memories and stories for years to come. And you can too. Go to storyworth.com/VIALL and save $10 off your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/VIALL to save $10 on your first purchase. Like I said, after 1 year, Storyworth will compile all your loved ones' stories, including photos, into a beautiful keepsake book that you'll be able to share and revisit for generations to come. All right, we're cutting in this episode to do some breaking news that we didn't film. Apparently, Pete Davidson has a new girlfriend, and it's
none other than world famous supermodel
Emily Ratajkowski or
Emrata. I mean, we all
it's bullshit
asked.
now, right? So
What?
it's not now. Now it's a game.
Well,
right?
I was gonna say we all asked, like, where do you go after Ariana Grande, after Kim Kardashian?
Yeah, no,
Emrata.
I get all that, but now it just seems fake.
What seems fake?
What do you mean? What seems fake? The relationship?
Do you think when you say it's fake, do you assign that?
Press. It's just a press opportunity.
Well, do you think, and who do you think is more like the driving force behind that? Like, do you think it's more
Mutual.
about Pete David? Okay, so like mutually beneficial.
It's hard to question its authenticity. Maybe it is. I don't know, but like it's so obvious that it's.
I feel like everyone questioned him and Kim for the same reasons, though.
Well, and
A lot of people still think that was a press situation.
sure, yeah. Now I think
But will you be converted just the way everyone else was for Kim?
No, but I wasn't converted. Well, I'm retroactively now questioning the authenticity of that relationship.
Interesting.
No?
I feel like
You've never been like more and more things happen and that doesn't make you rethink how you thought something in the past?
Sure, but I don't feel this way about Pete.
I think the reason that I'm not like definitive press stunt is because Emrata had that TikTok she posted a little while ago where she was like, when he thinks he's so great for pulling you, but you just like ugly guys. And this is and not in any way to imply that Pete Davidson is ugly because he's clearly super hot, but he doesn't have that like sort of like
Pretty face.
model
He's not a pretty man.
jawline. Yeah, like he's not like a pretty boy hot. He's
His
like
hotness is derived from
he's like skater boy hot.
other things. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, it's not like it's not that I doubt that they could be into each other, and I guess it could turn into something. I guess I'm just saying it's just like, oh yeah, I see. I feel like they're both motivated by things other than like, hey, I just like happen to want to date you. I mean, again, she's obviously beautiful and successful, and who wouldn't want to say yes to Emrata? And it's clearly a lot of women are interested in dating Pete Davidson. But at what point is he like? Let's just play this out. Let's say they become boyfriend and girlfriend, and 6 months from now they break up again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at what point does this ever become just like a running joke if it's not already? Like, is he going to make it work? I'm all for like dating, and I'm not trying, again, don't judge people for having a lot of exes, shooting a shot, but like maybe just date someone who isn't the next greatest big female, not the next, but like maybe date someone who's not like an A-list single woman coming out of a relationship, because that's also another thing. All these people seem to be exiting relationships, and he seems to be rebound guy.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna see him with Giselle next. It's gonna be like, what?
But
Well,
maybe
also,
they're just
she's a
happy living their
jujitsu.
best lives. Maybe he doesn't want any like super huge commitment. Maybe he doesn't want to get married.
That's also fine too.
He's just having fun.
Well, I would also be very curious about like what their meet cute was like, or like like how it came to fruition.
I guess
Because
that's what I'm
that's the
saying.
other
It's just
thing.
like it's hard for me. This is a public relationship, and we all like to like root for, I guess, or not root for, but like it seems the how did you meet and blah blah blah, and it's just like it just seems more like, oh hey, Emrata, like you just you broke up with someone, like Pete's available. You should. I guess the playbook says date Pete, because you're going to get a lot of attention. The press is going to go make a big deal about it. And granted, like she got attention from dating, I guess, I don't know, there were some rumors about her and Brad Pitt. But
yeah.
it's just like, there was no...
What if Emrata slid into Pete's DMs?
Probably, maybe
Because
she
similar to Kim, she heard about that BDE. She wasn't looking for commitment. I think
Maybe.
that's why a lot of these people seek Pete out. Maybe it's not even Pete's MO. Maybe these women seek Pete out because they know he doesn't want the full commitment.
Maybe so.
And they're so done with the commitment they just want to be
Maybe this is what I'm trying to
pleasured.
say. I know we're talking about it. Obviously, we did a pickup for it, obviously, because people aren't going to be interested in it. But like, I no longer give a shit.
About Pete Davidson?
Yes. Well, no, his romantic life. Like when he met Ariana Grande, it was like, oh damn, like
Yeah.
I'm invested, you know, like I'm curious. My fascination has declined to like, oh, okay, it's just a thing, you know?
It's kind of fun. It's like a little whack-a-mole. Where is he going to show up next?
Sure. Yeah. But it's like, I see, like, I'm not like, oh, I'm so
Maybe
into
he
this
found the
relationship,
one.
you know, I want to hear all their story. Like, it just seems like, oh, well, duh. It's a bit comical now.
It does seem like he gets genuinely into it. You know, like he like proposed to Ariana. He got the tattoo for Kim. So I think he could
Isn't that a
still
little nuts though? I mean, if he like, I mean, it's all fun and games, and we're all being entertained by it. But like, I don't know, I guess I don't know. Like, what are we rooting for? If we're following this relationship like relationship goal, like, is this relationship goals?
I guess it's like it seems
It's in
like
the
the
eye of the
thing
beholder.
that is appealing about him is that he's like a great hang. Like I think he's a really sparky person, like in terms of like the Logan Uri, like spark all that theory. Like I think he's someone who very much like I bet he's super charismatic. I bet he's super genuine. I think he can like talk to
Great to be
people
around, for sure.
in a way that's probably like really like a breath of fresh air to people who are surrounded by teams and industry people all the time. Like I'm sure he just comes off as incredibly authentic. And I think because of that kind of like boy next door kind of charm, I guess to me that translates into how I view the breakups too, where I'm just like, oh, they tried and they don't see each other enough.
It's just that he's only dating these A-list, and it's not like, again, it's not accidental. He's not randomly like bumping into these people. And I know they like roam in the elite circles, and these circles are small, but like I guess all I'm saying, and now it's more of an eye roll at this point, and I'm definitely could not be less invested in the outcome of whatever this is than say his other previous relationships, where I was like, oh, maybe there's something here. Maybe this is the match. Now it seems a bit contrived. That's all. Do we know that Pete and Nimrod are dating, or were they just seen together on a date?
Someone
They were seen holding
submitted it as like a anonymous
hands.
tip. They're on a date together in Brooklyn, holding hands, and his hands were all over her, and they've clearly hooked up. That's what this anonymous source said.
Good. I mean,
I think it was a Dumois
nothing
post.
else. It's just another feather in his cap, you know, like.
Truly.
I think what it is that I view, because I'm like, oh my God, these women are powerful and like stunningly gorgeous. I inherently am like, oh, they have the power in this relationship. Like he's kind of like there going along, like happy to be there, trying to treat them like queens.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe that's why I like him, is because I'm like, yeah, he seeks out women who are like run the ship, and he's like, aye, captain. And I love that in a man.
We have a great episode for you. The one, the only, and very funny Jason Nash is with us. I've gotten to know Jason a little bit over the past couple months. I really enjoy him as a human being and as a person and as a guest. We also have Kanika Batra, who zoomed in. She is on TikTok as a self-proclaimed diagnosed sociopath.
Mm-hmm.
What she has educated us is not, sociopath is not in the DSM. It's not a technical term, but she explains why she uses that term. I saw on TikTok, I was just kind of fascinated by what this all means. She has some interesting things to say, certainly around like empathy and how people should date. I didn't, we're going to play the episode, and we'll let you think however you think. But it was certainly interesting.
Your brain will be stimulated when you're listening to this conversation.
And then we have some chats about more Selena Gomez chatter.
Touch on some masterminding.
Yeah. Is manipulation ever allowed in a relationship of any kind? Even if it gets you to be in love?
We'll find out.
Interesting. I don't
Yes.
know. Yes. The answer is yes. Don't forget to send in your questions at asknick@castme.com. Cast with a K. Looking for some holiday Ask Nick stories. Also, we're still hoping to get people in a situationship to call in together and talk about the situationship. What are other things we're looking for?
Okay, have you had like a date from hell? Just a date where it went real bad, like stuff hit the fan. It was not just your general emotionally exhausting dating badness, but like some really notable shitty shit happened on a date.
I one time heard about a date where the girl took like 10 or 11 shots like within a few hour period, ended up puking in the guy's lap as he drove her home. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't even have to be necessarily current. We just want to hear it. We're not sure what we're going to do with it yet, but we want to hear your
We
stories.
want to know.
Also, if you had like really ugly breakups, we'd love to hear those stories. And if you have some men friends out there who may not listen to the show, but also have some good stories, encourage them to write in and
It's
be
all
on the
anonymous.
show as well. It's all anonymous.
finally, if you are in a relationship that you need to end, if you know that a breakup is imminent, but you are not sure how to do it, give us a call. We're going to help you break up, help you break things off.
We'll call them for it if you want.
Yeah, we'll do it.
We'll do it.
We'll send a telegram. Nick will show up at their door.
Well, I don't know about that. Well, we'll call them. Yeah. We'll help you break up. Or we'll just decide whether you should break up or not. Maybe you don't know. Stay or go.
Should I stay or should I go?
We don't know.
That's a song.
It's also a chapter in the book, which is still available, viallfiles.com. Don't text your ex. Happy birthday. Check it out. All right, let's get to Jason. Jason.
Nick and the Raw Dog in the morning, 106.5 FM. We're
Already a
getting
different
crazy
start.
here on Nick Viall's podcast.
How are you, Jason?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm great, man. It's good to be with you.
Everything good?
It's great.
Listen, I want to start off right now and just say, as the two sexiest men in the world, you and I think we should squash the beef and just be friends.
Just be friends?
Yeah, I
Okay.
really think so,
The
I think
plight of two hot men.
yeah, and if
Yeah.
you would be so kind, I'd love to bounce a quarter off your abs right now, if that's okay.
I don't know if my abs, they're not in peak ab condition.
They're not.
I don't think so. I hired a trainer for the first time ever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, so the way you look is just like you? Like
Sure, yeah.
I guess you did.
Yeah.
You did track in high school. I know that
In
about
college, too.
you. In college, so
Yeah.
that keeps you fit, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. And to that end, like, I learned enough while doing that I could, work out on my own.
Yeah,
I knew kind of the basics, and I was athletic enough that the basics got me far enough, and I was athletic enough to like push myself. But I'm now at the point of my life where like, not only am I hired a trainer to like give me some specific workouts, because I need to start working out some like other muscle groups and like stretching more and things like that. But also it's just the motivation, because now when I'm working out on my own, I just get tired. I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I'm done.
Yeah.
And now it's like that kind of one more, I'm a lot more tired working out with a trainer than I am when I'm working out by myself.
I'm going the other way. I'm worried I'm going to get overweight again. So I'm like, I wake up every day like, oh, I got to run. I got to do something.
Are you pretty active?
Yeah, I've been really active lately.
You look great.
Thanks. I've been trying. I since 2019, I lost like 50 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been a struggle. I love food.
I love food too.
Yeah, it's really bad. I don't drink and I don't do drugs, but I love chicken parmesan,
Do you feel like you've gotten to this point in your life in a healthy way?
Yeah, I think it's pretty healthy. Like I'm pretty good with it. I just don't. I just was like, all right, I've eaten enough. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I've tasted everything. I need to stop and get it under control.
Food's great.
Yeah, it really is. But it's not great when you like can't walk upstairs.
It can be a struggle.
That's really hard. Yeah. Especially I'm older than you, so everything goes wrong. You'll see.
I've heard. Yeah.
How's the trainer? Is he brutal? He?
He's nice, lovely.
Yeah.
He has a track background as well
Okay.
from Jamaica. So
Has he got you out at the track?
not yet.
Oh, okay.
No.
Can you smoke him?
No.
You can't?
I think he was better than I was,
Oh.
for one. And then he's
Right.
also just in better shape and he's younger.
Uh-huh.
I think it would be embarrassing.
Well, that'll be good for you, like that you have somebody that's ahead of you.
I think so.
Yeah, because that's how I got in shape. I work out with younger people who are,
Yeah. Well, I was at a party. I think it was a similar party. It was at a party we were at together where I challenged my friend to a race.
Yeah. Oh, at that party we were at?
Yeah.
The other night, right?
Sure.
You challenged your friend to a race?
We were standing there and I looked at him and he used to be a Division I quarterback. And I just said, do you think you can beat me in a race?
Right.
And he said, yeah. And he did.
You did it then and there.
No, we
Okay.
did outside my street. Although he cheated and I had a bad hamstring, but he did.
So he beat you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's really funny. I took a photo with you at that party.
Yeah.
And I put it on my Snapchat, like,
Sure.
because I think you're great. And then there was just a response. This girl, she goes, "Oh my God, Jason, who is that guy? He's the most handsome man." And I was like, "It's the fucking Bachelor." Like,
She said I was handsome?
Yeah.
Nice.
Also, wait, Snapchat story. Are you still an active Snapchat
Yeah.
user?
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah, I started using Snapchat this year.
Wow,
the first time
a
ever?
late adapter.
I still should I be using Snapchat more?
My sister is one of the people who follows you on Snapchat, just so you know.
Is
She's
she?
one of the OGs, yeah.
Snapchat's nice if you like have like a busy day and you don't have time to edit and you're just like, I'm here. So it's cool for people to see me like they see me working out and then they see me out here at the podcast.
Are
and
you
people
on
like that.
are you on
Be Real?
yeah.
No, I'm not. But
Are you be reeling it on TikTok? Which is like they have a be
Now?
reel.
TikTok
It's
now.
on
yeah,
TikTok
they have it,
now.
yeah. Yeah, I get asked to do a lot of B-reels. We went to David's pizza opening the other day, and every kid wanted a B-reel, every single person. And I was like, oh. Because, you got to sit there, and you got to take your photo, and
Yeah.
it counts down, and then it takes them. And
It takes another one.
yeah. But people really like it.
Nallie's on it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see the point of it, but
I haven't quite adapted it.
do you guys see the point of B-reel?
No.
Yeah, I do.
You do.
What?
Yeah. So I think it's like, well, I think when people actually use it like very authentically and when you're following like your close friends, it is nice to just like see what someone is up to in a very uncurated way.
But like the one time I did the B-reel alarm went off and I was like, okay, let me do it. Because I have the app, but I don't use it. And I was in the bank. And then it was like a picture of me at the bank. And then like, Bank of America.
I did a TikTok now on Saturday of me like trying to get my hot tub heater to work. And I was just like, I'm trying to get my hot tub heater to work.
The reason I like that though is because I think with the friends that I miss, it's like I miss being a part of their everyday life. Like just like the silly little day-to-day things like going to the bank and having the hot tub heater not working. So I think it has to be people you're genuinely invested in and like enough that you
well, that's
care
my
about the
problem.
Well,
minutia.
'cause that's the thing. It's like
yeah, I don't want to see what my friends are up to.
I
at
was
I
all.
don't really
part of
genuinely
one
care about
time.
anyone. Kidding.
No, I like to see them in person,
Yeah.
but I could care less what they're doing.
Jason's taking a dump. Great.
Shit only, be real.
my dream. Thank God.
Be stooled.
Is it like an
Still.
app that's like people monetize on there? Do people get paid to make
I don't, that's the question.
Every
though.
time they do a Be Real, it's a nude.
So what's new, Jason?
Nothing. Just making videos, making podcasts. We're doing another roast. We're roasting our friend Zayn Hijazi
Oh, Zayn,
on the
yeah.
17th of December. So we're writing that. And yeah, that's it. We had you on. We had Danny DeVito on. That was cool.
You had Danny DeVito on.
Yep. That was crazy. And we had who else was on? Dane Cook was on. He was good. He was great. Yeah. So we've just been doing that.
How'd you get Danny DeVito on?
I don't know. It was really weird. It was just like a guy that I know used to represent him, and he was like, Danny DeVito has a new show on FX, and they want to promote it, and they want to do it. They want to promote the season finale, so they need to do it tomorrow, and they need it out by Thursday. And so I was like, yeah, I'm not doing anything else. Yeah, of course.
That's
So that was
amazing.
good. Yeah, it was cool. It's interesting when you like. I've never talked to someone that famous before.
Yeah, he's
He's on another level.
he's a novel. Yes,
He's somebody that was like,
he's an icon.
yeah, like he got famous on Taxi. I don't know if you remember that show.
I do remember it.
And then
Throw mom off the train. Remember that?
like overnight, he's just like this. He was a theater actor or whatever, and now he's just like this star. And then from Taxi, it's like all the movies in the '80s that he did. Then he directed. So it's just cool. Yeah, you're like, damn, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah. Why can't I get Danny DeVito?
Yeah,
I'm jealous.
yeah. I'm sure he'll come in.
He probably won't.
I can give you his contact.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
How's family life? You got some kids?
I got some kids, 16, 13.
What's being a dad like?
I mean,
you.
if I'm being honest, it's truly the best. It's the best thing you'll ever do. Yeah, like it's the best. There's no point in any kind of. There's nothing that compares to it. Honestly, just to be able to like, you have someone that's a baby, and now they're like a full human, and it's just so cool. It's my son is like 16, my daughter's 13, and now they're starting to just like. They've got the most insane lives. Like my daughter, she'll be like, I gotta go to Agora Hills. And I'm like, I can't, what? Like, I don't know anyone in Agora Hills, you know what I mean? Like, so she has friends everywhere. And I think that's maybe like with Snapchat and stuff like that, like kids now, they just know each other everywhere. And
Mhm.
when I grew up, like I didn't leave my town for like 5 years, So that's really interesting.
How do you go about?
She called me one
Do they
day.
live with their mother or you, or
Well,
how do you go? How do you guys co-parent?
I live like 3 minutes away from them. So
Oh,
they
great.
just like go back and forth. And then, when my son has had enough over there, he comes to me and it's really good. I'm really lucky. My ex-wife's the best.
As someone who actually understands the internet, like I feel like a lot of
Yeah.
parents were like trying to figure out how to parent with the internet without having like a full understanding. So as someone who like really knows ins and outs, like all the sides
Yeah.
of it,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what's your approach to parenting with reference to the internet?
Oh, I don't have an approach on it. My kids they're not really, my son doesn't do it. He's not on the internet. He's into like music and stuff.
Really, he's not like on the apps.
Mm-mm. No.
I feel like you won the kid lottery because I feel like that's a challenge for so many parents these days.
Yeah, no, he's insane. He like listens to like old jazz music and stuff. He's crazy. And then she's on she had a TikTok account and she just quit it. She didn't like it. And I think some of the comments were really bad. I think that was why.
Aw.
And so she's like, I'm not doing this. And I was like, okay, great. So they're not really that into it, but yeah, I don't know. I don't have any advice is my answer. Good luck. Because
Godspeed.
it does seem hard. Yeah. I don't know. Are you going to have kids?
I hope to. Yeah.
Yeah, you should. It's the best.
How's your love life?
It's good. It's good. I got a new girlfriend. She's great.
How long you guys been dating for?
I don't know, like 3-4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about this relationship, or how's it compared to other ones?
She's just like she's just really cool and just cool with everything. And there's no like, I'm mad at you for this, or it's really interesting. But it's funny because it's like, you're like really in love with this person right away. And then you're like, oh, like, wait a minute, is this going to go away or is it going to get better? So it's, yeah, but she's unreal.
Do you feel like you're still in the honeymoon phase?
I do. And that's what's scary about it. I'm like, is this going to go? Yeah. Is this going to go away or what? Or it's tough.
And how many serious relationships did you have before this?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Three
Three.
before this. Yeah. 3. 1 marriage.
One marriage.
Yeah. But she's great. I was in love with her for a long time. And
How'd you guys meet?
met on a dating app.
Nice.
Yeah, but I didn't talk to her for like 2 years, and she moved away. And then one day, this year, she moved back, and she was like, "I'm back in town," and I was like, "Oh." So it was, yeah.
So did you go on dates and then just didn't talk for 2 years, or you saved each other as a match for 2 years?
No, we like went on some dates, and then
So you'd exchange phone numbers.
yeah, we went on
Okay,
some
great.
dates, and then she moved.
Ah,
Yeah, and then I would think about her for every day for 2 years, and I was like, and I even texted her. She wouldn't text me back, and I was like, okay, she's not interested. And then I don't know, one day this year's been a strange year. It's been like a crazy year of new podcasts, new relationship, kids getting older, and so I don't know, man.
What excites you the most about your future?
My future?
Yeah.
Just retiring.
Retiring?
Yeah, just doing nothing.
Doing nothing?
Yeah, I wish I could do less. You
don't, but I feel like you love what you do.
I do. I love it, but it also it's it's like when you create content and stuff, it's just there's no end to it.
Yeah.
Like today, there's like an animal guy coming to my house to bring like an iguana, and it's like it's fun, but
You get taxing.
yeah, like I'd like to just go and hang out.
And because you got your start like just being a comedian.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
I
yeah.
say just being a comedian. And then how did you slide into this more content creating?
Well, I was
world?
I was like completely broke, and I was doing stand up at the Improv, and David Dobrik was in the audience, and that was it. And it was again, like getting lucky breaks in life. It's like I'd gone like 20 years with no lucky breaks, and then I walked off stage, and he walked up to me, and he was like, "Oh, hey, can you?" He had a hat on, and he had his camera, and he's a kid, He's like, I think he was like 20. And he was like, "Oh, hey, can you come do that bit tomorrow at my house?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, yeah, of course." I knew who he was. And so I went and did it. And I was like, I'll never, because, when you do like Instagram video and Vine or TikTok or whatever, like you maybe see somebody once and then you never see them again.
Sure,
They have
yeah.
one idea and that's it.
Yeah.
And then, and then I just really got along with him. We hung out for the next 5 years. I'm still really good friends with him. We had a podcast for a while that was really good, really fun, called Views. And yeah, he's the best. He's like truly, he saved my life. That kid, yeah.
Why do you say that?
Just because where I was at the time, like I owed like $60,000 in taxes. I had just gotten divorced. I was like nowhere. And I remember he was like who kept calling me. He'd be like, you got to come out. Like, come help me do this. And I was like, okay. So I would just go and help him just because I liked him. And then he was just like, why don't you just stay with me every day and do this? And I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna make any money. And he was like, well, you start a channel. And I was like, oh no, man, I can't start a channel. I think I was like 43 at the time. I was like, I can't be 43 on
Starting
a YouTube
YouTube.
channel. And then that's David. David he's just like crazy. He's not crazy, but he just goes for whatever. And he was like, you can do it. You can do it. And he's like, how much do you need to make a month? And I was like, I need to make like, I don't know, like $5,000 a month, like to get by. And he was like, he's like, you can do that. You can do that. And I was like, okay. And,
Okay.
and then, that was just incredibly lucky to be like in the improv on that night when he was there. And so it was like really,
So
really something.
As someone who we have some similarities in the sense that different ages or whatever, but
yeah,
I had a different life, and then in my early 30s,
Yes.
I did a drastic change, and you're someone who also like had a pretty significant pivot, in a kind of a middle age. When people come to you now, right? Because I feel like there's like two ways to like interpret that, right? Do you
Mhm.
often say, recognizing how lucky you got and the uniqueness of your situation,
Yep.
are you more like, hey man, like, I don't know, like keep doing what you're doing? Or are you someone who's always, do you like be an example of it's never too late to follow your dreams, it's never too late to start over? Or are you a little bit more pragmatic, knowing how like fortuitous your situation was and how much you struggled
Yeah.
prior to this fortuitous situation? Like if someone came up to you in the street and said, hey Jason, like I'm thinking about making this switch and I'm like 37 years old and blah blah blah,
Yeah.
what would you say to that person? Like how would you approach it?
I would say, I definitely would say go for it. If you were like 37 and you wanted to be a content creator, like definitely go for it, but like, have something to back it up, like be really, really committed to it. Cause the only thing I can say is, for anybody that's like struggling in life, I was trying all those years. I had lots of sketches already written
Yeah.
and I had experience. I took improv class, I took acting class. So when it just took me a really long time, but when it came, I was useful,
Yeah.
and I was of use to David's videos, and then I was able to do my own videos because I had some experience and I had some idea of how things should go. But yeah, I always say go for it. Like, why? You only live once, and if you have kids, it's a little difficult because you have to support the kids.
Support them.
But in some ways, I think too, like having my kids was the best thing for me because at that time, I was like, I needed something steady and solid, So when I started YouTube, I stopped everything else. I stopped stand up. I made a couple movies. I stopped trying to make movies. So I will say, like, stay focused on one thing. I think that's best.
So Jason, I've been following, like not following, but I've seen this very interesting person on TikTok who starts every TikTok by saying she's a diagnosed sociopath.
Hell yeah.
I don't know what that means. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
And I think she like lives in Europe or something. And so you were coming on and I thought it would be fun for us to like ask her some questions on what it's like to be a
Yeah.
diagnosed sociopath. So
Great.
we're down to have us interview her.
Great idea.
Let's just talk to her.
I love
Let's
this.
see where it goes.
I love this.
Great. Let's bring her
Yeah.
in. Well, Kanika, this is my friend Jason.
Hi,
And
Kanika.
we have Allie and Amanda in the room as well.
Hi.
And we're excited to talk to you. I've found you on TikTok. You've been showing up on my For You page. I'm sure you've gotten this a lot. So many questions. You start most of your videos with, I'm a diagnosed sociopath. Am I getting that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
You have.
First of all, what does that mean? Because I feel like I guess for me, there's a lot of ignorance around what that means. I think there's just a lot of opinions and thoughts on the topic, but not a lot of information. So I'm really just kind of fascinated by all this. And how did you first find out that you were diagnosed? And then what does it even mean, just to start with?
So to start with, sociopathy actually is not a medical term.
Okay.
I use it as a buzzword because nobody knows what the actual medical term means.
Okay.
The medical term itself is antisocial personality disorder, and it is characterized by a lack of remorse, a lack of guilt, and a lack of empathy. It also covers psychopathy informally. So basically, it's an umbrella term, and within it, you've got the sociopath, you've got the psychopath. There's a lot of contention as to what was made and what was born. And there are checklists, that psychiatrists go through in diagnosing you as such. And in terms of antisocial personality, you can only qualify if you do have a background of childhood juvenile delinquency and also callous and unemotional affect in your earliest years.
Interesting. So what is your opinion on this? How did you feel? Do you feel it was more, is it like nature versus nurture type of argument? Like I said, were you born with this type of diagnosis, do you feel like, or do you feel like something happened in your childhood?
I feel like it was a combination of both.
Okay.
I do believe there is a strong sense of ASPD on my dad's side. If I'm being completely honest, I hope they're not watching. If they are,
What's
they have to deal with
ASPCD?
that.
Yeah, what is ASPCD?
Yes, antisocial personality disorder.
Okay.
That is
Okay.
what is, commonly referred to as a sociopath or a psychopath.
Gotcha.
So was your dad,
yeah, and
did your dad act a certain way that might have created this in you?
well, not my dad to me particularly. It's more his side of the family.
Uh-huh.
But when I was growing up, I was often punished for having emotions. So if I was crying, I would be sent to my room essentially, and I would be told that I wouldn't be able to speak to my parents until I could speak normally, aka without emotion. So I learned pretty early on not to cry and not to use certain emotive language and expressions if I wanted to be taken seriously.
Do you ever cry now?
Oh yeah, I cry all
you
the
do?
time.
Oh, okay.
I can cry on cue if you want. But yeah, no, I am able to cry. I feel the same range of human emotions as most people. It's just not to the same extent and definitely not as deep.
Okay. Interesting. So I feel like you mentioned this, like a lack of empathy seems to be like the main kind of disconnect in terms of feelings. Like are you truly incapable of feeling empathy for people, or do you have to fake it? And like, I guess, what does it mean to not have any empathy whatsoever? Because you seem very self-aware and you seem like you totally understand what empathy is. And I think like on some of your videos, you seem to reference like your ability to fake it if you need to. So are you able to explain what it means, the difference between like understanding it? And because like for me, like when I've learned about empathy, it's like, hey, you should like give a shit about other people than yourself. And then like be in the moment, be like, hey man, like how was your day? I'm really sorry you had to deal with that. So like what's the difference between just like knowing that you should do it and like ask people questions and not be kind of self-absorbed, which I think we all have become in our society, versus your like lack of ability to feel it? Like how do you make that distinction?
So what people seem to get confused is making empathy an inherently positive thing. Empathy is simply being able to feel what somebody else is feeling. That's not a positive or a negative thing. That's a very neutral fact. Now, what people confuse it with is being kind and caring and showing compassion. Now, these are things I am capable of. In terms of empathy itself, yes, I do feel cognitive empathy. That's why I can understand what people are going through. I can understand why you feel shit. I can understand why someone is sad when their mother dies. I mean, I'm not that far, gone. But I don't have affective empathy. So I will never feel what you feel. Even if I understand it to the best of my best of my knowledge, if I understand it, I still will not feel it unless I have absolutely gone through the same thing myself.
Interesting.
And about helping other people, this is not inherently based on empathy, because there are a lot of people who are dark empaths, and there are empaths who specifically show their empathy to only certain people. They reserve this selective empathy and decide who gets it and who is not worthy of it. So they can be just as cruel, if not worse, than having no empathy at all.
Sure. What is your ability to have like interpersonal relationships, and I guess specifically romantically? Do you date, or are you in a relationship? What is that like for you?
Yes, so I date. I am in a relationship. I am bisexual, so I've dated women, I've dated men. I generally tend to lean towards dating women, but currently am with a man. I have very specific ways that I go about dating because I don't want to waste my time and I don't want to waste other people's time. So when I go into a situation, I know exactly what I want from a person and I know exactly what they want from me because I would say that I don't internally have a personality. I have something that can reflect off anybody. So I could go into, say, a room full of conservatives and become, one of a very loved member of their society. Or I could go into the Democratic convention and fit right in. So I can reflect whatever this person wants me to reflect. But I know what I want, and I want stability. I want someone who can actually take care of me emotionally, someone who can put up with my spontaneity and my impulses. So I tend to go in, and of course, the first step is always love bombing, and this isn't necessarily intentional because it's just because I do get excited because meeting new people it's a way to pique my interest because my emotions in general are just incredibly flat. So I go into dates, I know what I want, I know what they want, and then I evaluate.
How do you bring up the fact that you have this condition on your dates? Like we talk about dating a lot on this show, and we get a lot of questions like, when do I bring up I have kids, or when do I bring up that I had this, people refer to as baggage. Obviously, with a personality disorder, does that weigh heavy on you, or do you not feel anything about it? Like, when do you bring it up pretty early, and how have people responded to that?
So people don't actually believe me when I tell them I have ASPD. They don't believe that I'm a sociopath, which is really funny. I mean, they believe it once I discard them, but before that they don't. But I don't feel it's anybody's really business until I am going into a proper serious relationship. I mean, if I'm going on 4 dates with a guy and I know in my head that I'm not taking this any further, I have no need to tell him what like my diagnoses are,
Sure.
just as I wouldn't go in about like major depressive disorder and, about all of the things that I have to go through. It's just stuff that I'm not really that invested in. So unless someone shows a lot of value to me and shows that I would want them in my life, I just show them what they want to see. They don't know anything about who they're actually with, really.
I'm curious, when you say like discard people, is that language that feels authentic to you, like in the moment when you're kind of like moving on? Does it feel like it's just appropriate and this chapter is closed, or is that kind of more of a reflection on the way other people have reacted to that behavior and like having an awareness that there's something about that can be upsetting to people, or that's like not typical of social norms?
So what I believe is that for me, it's very natural, right? I'm done with someone. It's over. Like I don't care anymore. So like they're gone. They're out of my life. Then I often get texts from them saying, "Oh, you've just discarded me. Like I'm trash." So that's kind of where that comes from. And also, like, I am self-aware. I've read into how a lot of our relationships work, and I've seen the cycle of, love bomb, devalue, discard. That's kind of what all of us do without meaning to. Sometimes we mean to, but obviously that's not something that I would willingly continue to do because it's not satisfying for me and it's obviously not satisfying for a number of people. So that's kind of where that came from.
How do you hold your like self accountable as like a member of society, I suppose? Because you're talking about, you know, not until I discard people. And like, again, you have this incredible self-awareness about it. And as you mentioned before, you understand, you know, like, hey, I understand discarding someone or making them feel devalued is wrong. So how do you make a determination whether you quote unquote do the right thing or just not do it based off of the fact that you're like, I don't really see the need to because I have this condition? Like, how do you decide whether you're going to overcome it or not, or just not give a shit because
Yeah, like go off of your instincts versus go off of like learned norms.
behavior. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going to blame my terrible behavior on a personality disorder. That's bullshit. Anyone who says that I do this just because I'm a sociopath is lying. What I plan to do is I always find myself being a lot kinder to women because I feel like women have a lot more that they're going through. So I'm very, very unlikely to discard, per se, a woman that I'm dating. I will take her out to a nice dinner. You know, I will tell her politely, like, look, I just don't think this is working out. I think we should probably see other people. And then I'll end that chapter. I try to be a good person. I try, even though it goes against everything that I want in the moment, I will go and do that. I will go and fulfill my societal obligation. When it comes to men, especially, you know, I don't know if I can swear on here, but
Yeah, you can swear.
F-boys.
Yeah, I can swear.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so fuck boys. Like I don't give a shit about them. They don't give a shit about women. I don't give a shit about them.
Do you feel like some of that you mentioned, you know, a lot of this comes from childhood and things you learned there and turning off those emotions? Was there anything different, like in terms of your parents, that would result in you being more harsh towards men than women?
Absolutely. I mean, my mom is a very emotional person. She kind of, I mean, I'm not trying to say that my dad was terrible. I love my dad. He's a wonderful, wonderful person and have such a special bond with him. But my mother, she's the emotional one. She's the one who kind of would let me express myself, who I would show vulnerability to.
Mm.
But vulnerability was not something I would show to a man, essentially.
Interesting.
Why? So is it something that you are working at, or is it something that's just who you are and that's it?
Well, I've been in therapy in and out. I honestly am not that consistent with it because therapy gets pretty boring, especially when you're just hearing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
And
It's
one
tough.
thing is that people with ASPD often get worse with therapy because they get better at lying. And
Right.
so I don't necessarily see it as something that is going to be super beneficial for me. I still do it because I'm trying to be a good person. I'm trying to not hurt people if I don't have to.
I think
But
it's great that you're
yeah,
I think it's great that you're so forward with it. Why are you so forward with it? Is this something that you want to
well,
get
I'm
out
gonna
there?
be honest.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I on my YouTube, it's all about healing, right? I always talk about choosing to be a better person.
Mhm.
On my TikTok, I've released a more savage side of myself because I feel like women at the moment are so weak, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of seeing on the media that women should be submissive, women should be, you know, trained like dogs. Like, I want these women to realize that their empathy is the reason of our downfall. They are literally empathizing with men who want to see see us back in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant. And so I'm not going to sit here and let empathetic women ruin my place in society. And so I want ladies to know that only sociopathic terms will work in the current dating world. And I figured the best way to do this is TikTok, because where else can you start being, you know, loud and obnoxious?
Are you saying? Did you just say that being a sociopath is the only thing that'll work in the dating world? Is that what you said?
Yes. For women, I believe having sociopathic tendencies is the best way to move forward in the dating world.
But isn't that the same approach as the men that you hate take? In some ways, it's the other side of that. So you have people that say horrible things about women, like women should be barefoot and pregnant. But isn't what you're saying also kind of wrong too? So it's like two wrongs.
Absolutely not. And what I am trying to do, being sociopathic does not mean being abusive.
Right.
It means not showing empathy. So it means not being kind to the guy who texts you at 2 a.m. and then tells you that you're ugly and you're not the type of girl
Right.
anyone would want for a relationship. That's what I'm trying to tell them. That kindness to people who are exploiting you is useless. Why would you want to put yourself in that position? I am telling women how to protect themselves from being manipulated.
Well, we love that part. I mean, we talk a lot about boundaries and expectations on this show, and regardless of your gender, in terms of, and I love what you're saying about that, because we should set our boundaries with ourselves. What do we want? And if people don't want to respect that, if people don't want to respect our boundaries or meet our expectations, regardless of what they say to you, yes, I think people should enforce those more, so not feel bad about, I guess, what am I trying to say?
Yeah,
I get.
honestly,
I mean, 'cause I get what you're saying in
of
terms of the like a lack of empathy in terms, or having
think
too much empathy.
It's kind of like I think it's the shift
Yeah.
between like innocent until proven guilty. Whereas like, I think maybe, tell me if this feels accurate, but I think maybe part of what you're saying is that like women treat men in the dating world as like innocent until proven guilty, when like they should really be treated as like guilty until proven innocent.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Why should I treat them with kindness? They do need to prove that they are worthy of my time, of my kindness, and of my compassion. And I think empathic women are our downfall at the moment, because they are the ones who are letting this work. I have seen this in person. So it's just empathic women are just the reason of our downfall at the moment.
Interesting. If you're in a relationship with someone, do you feel like you can be trusted with your personality disorder? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
You can. So how?
Absolutely. I am very honest with my partner.
Okay.
I communicate with him about how I feel about things. I am not someone who can lie to him. I am not someone who, while I can, do these things to other people, he's been a part of my life for 3.5 years, and I understand the value he brings to me, and he understands the values that I bring to him. Now, I am not going to go and, lie to my partner, and I have immense loyalty to those who are loyal to me. So no matter what he does, I will support him, because he has always supported me. He has nothing to doubt when it comes to me, because I've even shown him notes from my therapist that are obviously meant to be confidential. I have nothing to hide from my partners.
Are there any examples of, I guess, hypocrisy or things that or behaviors or practices that people might call out within you or anyone with ASPD as wrong that you see existing in society all the time without being like put under that same kind of scrutiny?
Absolutely. I mean, we see, well, I think this is more specific to ASPD and women, because women are very unlikely to be diagnosed with ASPD. Usually they get diagnosed with BPD or histrionic personality disorder. And so there's a standard of where we need to be. Until we are completely submissive, we are seen as a problem to treat. And we have this double standard of having to meet this criteria that is such bullshit, and it makes no sense. And the idea that we are liars and that we are bad because we don't have empathy, and we are horrible because we don't feel guilt, is also ridiculous to me, because a lot of empaths have very selective empathy. We have cold and calculated rage. They have very temperamental and often very, very hypocritical rage. And nobody gives empaths shit for that.
How many people have this type of personality disorder that you think is undiagnosed? Because you know what I'm saying? It just seems like to your point, it seems like a very triggering diagnosis to people, but yet you are clearly a capable and like productive member of society. It seems like, like you have your
I like to think so.
You have your opinions, and obviously you have your uniqueness about you, but like I think we hear sociopath and it's just like, how are you not locked up? I feel like a lot of people would say that, right? You're just like, oh my God, like she's walking around the streets.
Absolutely.
Like villain.
yeah,
Yeah,
lock
like,
her up right now.
oh my God, like run.
Can you get
Because Richard Ramirez is like out there.
if we
Absolutely.
were walking down the street, you and I were walking down the street, and I got hit by a bus, and I was dead, then what would you think then? Would you have feeling about that or no?
I would think that's terrible.
You would. So,
That's
but you would
sad.
you would feel that, right?
I would know that.
You would
I'm
know
not
it.
saying that
So you would know it's
I
a sad
would know it.
situation.
I would
but-
know.
Yeah.
You definitely would know it because you would see my guts everywhere for sure. But would you feel it? And I'm not judging you. I'm just asking.
No.
No. Wow, that's
That's
wild.
No.
interesting.
Unless I
That's
know you
really-
as a person, unless I know who you are, I know
Right.
your family, I know what a loss you'll be. Like, I don't know you from Adam.
I think it's really interesting what you said too, where you said you go to therapy and it gets worse, which I could see that because
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's.
Because it's so much easier to manipulate people when
Right.
we go to therapy.
I used to lie to my therapist all the time.
Really?
Yeah, just to like pass the time because she didn't want to get to it.
But honestly, something you guys should try is go out on the street and actually make like eye contact with somebody
Yeah.
for the longest amount of time that you can and see how quickly they freak out. They just break. It's something I enjoy doing. But I have actively taught myself to blink more, to not look so,
I'm comfortable with you though.
odd.
Wait, what are we trying to do here?
I don't know. Is
Fall
it-
in love or
fall-
lock eyes or see who's a sociopath?
No, it's an intimidation tactic, and it always works.
Are you
Yeah.
good at intimidating people?
Yes.
I like to think so.
Yes.
I'm just.
No.
I don't want to assume.
I just feel like she's very powerful.
Yeah. I mean, it's very fascinating. Well, this has been very interesting. Any final thoughts you want to leave us with?
Well, I'm just saying there are only 1 to 4% of the population is a sociopath or a psychopath. So your boss most likely is not one. Your neighbor isn't one. You can just because someone's a bad person doesn't mean you can just call them a sociopath. Like it has no relevance. And I believe that sociopaths are capable of being functioning members of the society. And I believe that empaths have a lot to learn from us. And until we end the stigma and are able to have these dialogues, things are only going to get worse. So, yeah. And I also just wanted to add, I stand by what I say in that in modern dating, women need to be sociopathic. They need to drop the empathy.
It's an interesting thought
Yep.
for sure. I mean, because I do think, if nothing else, we hear the word empathy, and I think most people are trained to have very positive reactions to that word.
It's a
course.
virtue.
And
Of
we,
course. And
yeah,
it's just it's a neutral, like it is literally a neutral subject. Just because my amygdala, perhaps, like, I haven't done the scan of my brain, but let's say my amygdala doesn't light up at the same time yours does. That doesn't mean that I'm inherently a bad person. So sociopaths aren't inherently bad. We have an inclination to do bad things, but we can choose not to. And if someone is out there blaming their shitty behavior on their personality disorder, like they're just being a shitty person, just like, regular people.
cheers to that. I couldn't agree more about that. Well, thank you for your time. This has been very fascinating. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful afternoon.
You as well. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Bye.
you. Wow, that was really interesting.
Yo, how do you know that she wasn't fucking playing all of us?
I don't know.
She told us to our face. She was like, I can adapt to anything. So she just adapted to you and won you over, won me over.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Scary.
Well, it's that's the thing because I always talk about in my relationships. I'm always it's just like a choice. I'm like I'll just choose to trust you. Like
Right.
if I'm gonna date someone that says like, listen, here's the thing. I'm just gonna trust you.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I can,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess we'll find out. Kind of thing.
Right.
It's for me. That's just easier than being like, well, I don't know. My last girlfriend cheated on me, and I guess I should be skeptical of you. But and then here, like you said, it's like she's just like, hi, I'm a diagnosed sociopath. This is what it means. Like hi, I'm being
Which
honest.
I like that
Yeah,
she's honest about it.
She's
I
like,
think that's
yeah,
really nice.
and it's just
Great.
like, but then you hear her say, well, I could if I wanted to lie at you at any moment, and I'd probably be really good at it, and you probably wouldn't be able to
Yeah.
tell. I mean, I guess she won me over in the sense of it's almost like she's trying to normalize or destigmatize that word compared to, say, empathy.
What did you
where-
guys think when she was saying that women need to be more sociopathic?
Yeah, that was.
I was wanting you guys to jump in on that.
I felt too black and white to me.
Yeah.
It was like she wanted everyone over on that side. And I was like, I heard what she was saying a little bit of like, oh, don't, lower yourself. Don't be this, like, I guess, what was she saying? Like the barefoot in the kitchen.
Which is good.
Don't be that.
Yep.
That's on another end of the spectrum. But to go straight, I'm like, there is something to be said about empathy. I think it makes me a better person.
I think it's about discernment and empathy. And I think she's erring kind of, exactly like we were saying, where it's like, if it's black and white, she's erring on the side of like, stop getting fucked over, stop giving. And so I think it makes sense that if you see it in those terms, like she might land on that. And I do think there's ultimately a solution or a middle ground that is like, in the direction of a lot more discernment and not
I get it.
like freely giving empathy. I think she doesn't want people to give empathy freely.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's less about like not having it entirely and more about like assessing which people and situations deserve it. And like she was commenting on the fact that women are socialized, I think, to view it as like something that everyone's entitled to.
Right.
Yeah,
She should say some of these actions that I have would be very beneficial in women that are in bad relationships.
I think that's what I struggled with. Of like,
Everyone needs to be a sociopath, which is what was coming out.
Well,
she needs to go back to the lab. And
She acknowledged that
cook it up a
she's
little.
saying things to trigger people.
Right. She did.
Yeah. Well, that's why.
well, she
the
said
female Andrew
that's why
Tate.
she chose TikTok, because that's the place to
when she,
spew.
like, she acknowledged that like sociopath, which I didn't know is like not in the DSM, but she uses that word because
Buzzword.
it's a buzzword.
Mm-hmm.
Her biggest takeaway of like empathy, I think, is an interesting discussion. But ultimately, I think that's kind of what we talk about all the time on this show. But we just frame it around like, setting boundaries and expectations, and not being so like it's not anyone's job to be so compassionate, empathetic, and making excuses for the people just because you say you want to love them or you want to be with them. That we all are entitled to have expectations of how we want to be treated in relationship, and we should communicate those, and we should set boundaries with ourselves for how we want to be treated. And before we have empathy for any one person, I think they have to meet certain expectations that we have for ourselves in the relationships that we want. I kind of feel like that is what she was saying in a way, but it'll be interesting because like, and maybe we could have asked her that, but like, where does she draw the line between acknowledging that she's using buzzwords to grab attention versus actually trying to communicate an ideology that she actually wants people to follow?
Well, because if her whole messaging is like,
be more
be more decisive, be more you, stop like subjecting yourself to being like what others want of you. But then she's like using buzzwords and marketing tactics to get people to watch her videos.
It's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I said she's doing the same thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I just nothing else.
Aren't you curious what her boyfriend's like?
Yes.
I'd love to see that guy. Like, he's probably
also,
so
even
normal.
the way she hung up the call being like, thank you so much for having me. This was great. I was like, I imagine her like on a dinner date being like, we should do this again sometime. That was great.
Does she have to fake excitement?
Does she have to fake love?
Oh man, she probably gets excited. I don't know.
Should we call her back?
Yeah. No, but she did. Like when she was talking, she was like, there were points where you could tell she was really like passionate about what she was saying.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out because she kept a lot of times she was talking. I was like, wait, so you kind of seem pretty normal.
Yeah, she seemed pretty normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you don't really know. You don't know if she's trying to get views
Yeah,
or
maybe she's just adhered to what the energy we were giving her.
right.
I don't. Thanks for indulging me.
Yeah, it was great. It's really interesting.
Should we move on to some hot topics?
Absolutely. Do we want to start with the Selena situation, the kidney drama? Did you follow this?
No. What happened? Selena Gomez?
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh boy.
So it kind of started with Selena Gomez making a comment where she said her only friend in the industry was Taylor Swift.
Okay.
On a new
Same.
documentary.
Okay. And who's Taylor Swift? I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I was about to fight.
So Selena Gomez's kidney donor and friend, potentially former friend, Francia Reza, is that right?
Yeah.
Francia Reza commented, interesting, basically being like, I gave you a kidney and now you're going to say your only
Where
friend.
did she comment that?
Oh.
She since deleted it.
That's like a Curb Your Enthusiasm plot.
Yeah, she sends
There's you ever watch that show?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's a whole thing where like Richard Lewis needs a
Yeah,
kidney.
yeah.
Yeah. That's really funny. Gosh, interesting.
and it was an news post that posted the clip, and then that's where Francia commented interesting.
E-News.
Yes, and then she since deleted it, but now she doesn't follow us.
She unfollowed her.
She
'Cause
unfollowed.
it was a Rolling Stone quote that Selena gave to Rolling Stone saying that Taylor was her only friend in the industry. And then she just commented interesting, but then deleted it off the E.
But, rumors were swirling. And there's a few different like conversations topics. Like there's one about like, what does it mean to give someone a gift? Like when you give someone a kidney,
An organ.
like what are you owed by them?
Well, because I heard something. I don't know where I heard it, so maybe it's completely false, and maybe you can let me know. But it seemed to be she took exception with Selena's, I guess, habits, life, like particularly around partying or drinking or indulging in like any type of substance, which obviously could be hard on the kidneys. And I don't know what part of that it's true, but to that end, if you gave someone a kidney, do you
relinquish any right of how they use it?
Yeah, like,
or do you have a claim over keeping it pure for the rest of their life?
You're like, well, I'm willing to cut my body open and give you my organs.
Yeah,
there's a level of could you treat it right? Like if you bought someone a car and they just started drag racing.
Yeah.
I goes, there would be some like irritation on my part. I mean, I guess I wouldn't be like, I guess it's your car. I do what you want.
Yeah, take
I'm not
it easy.
buying you another one.
Yeah. What happens when you give a kidney? How does it
affect you?
Yeah, how does it affect you if you only have one? You're good, or
you're good with one. It does regenerate.
Yeah. But it did say though that like after the surgery, like Selena Gomez recovered a lot faster because her body now had something that she desperately needed, versus Francia had a much more challenging recovery time because her body was just like losing this operational piece of it. So I think that's
it had to readjust.
Yeah.
So it's much harder to give one, I believe, than it is to receive.
Well, sure, yeah.
Who's Francia? Is she an actress?
She was in, I know her from Secret Life of the American Teen.
Clearly in the industry.
Yeah.
Clearly in the industry, yeah.
That was the comment that seemed to...
Well, listen, you can get a kidney from somebody and then not necessarily want to hang out with them anymore.
That's true.
I mean, that's possible.
Yeah.
Or you just kind of like fall apart a little bit.
That happens.
That person is still very dear to you because they gave you a kidney, but you may not
enjoy their company.
Yeah, right. They just may have grown apart a little bit.
I also wonder if there's a little bit of the like, we don't necessarily know off the tops of our head what she has done versus like with Taylor Swift. Like Taylor Swift is this like iconic, one of the most famous women in the world. And I wonder if part of this is also just like kind of like a fame A-list,
100%.
not A-list situation
yes.
where like in Selena's head, she's like,
yeah,
okay, sure. Like, yeah, you're my friend, but like, you're not necessarily like.
She has a decent IMDb. I will say that.
I mean,
she was in Grownish.
If that's
How I Met Your Mother.
If that's Selena's logic, I guess I wouldn't agree. I would be sensitive to be like, you only named your A-list friends?
I'm with Selena on this. You're sitting there with a Rolling Stone reporter. You don't want to be there. And they're like, so, and you want to, they're asking you questions. You want to say something that's going to sound good. You go, Taylor Swift's my only friend in the business.
But what if she meant, it's a Rolling Stone article, Selena's a singer, Taylor's a singer. What if she meant music?
Specifically
the music industry.
Like, what if
that's true.
What if she was thinking Francia's in acting?
I completely empathize to your point. Like, we're literally nitpicking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're bad people to even take this apart.
Let's end this episode now.
But, it is a fascinating conversation of giving your kidney and what
do people owe you?
What do people owe you, if anything? But
I give you a kidney, Nick.
Certainly she's entitled to her feelings being hurt. But I don't know if that makes Selena, I don't know if that means Selena did anything wrong. Does she not have it's just like, hey, you can have my kidney, but you can't go to parties, can't have a beer, you can't have a glass of wine, you can't do this. There's rules. Like, also, we have to be friends forever. You have to like me, you have to enjoy my company, you have to do all these. To your, maybe.
Any interview, I'm listed as number one friend.
I'm number one friend.
Please.
Yeah.
And that's what Selena, in one of the few comments Selena did make on the situation, she was sort of like, I'm sorry, I didn't list every single person I know, was I think kind of her thing of like, this is a non-issue. You're making this about you, which I think is a clear indicator that you feel scorned in some way, or that you're coming at this already feeling maybe underappreciated and looking for a window where like anything can set you off if you're Francia, because you're like, yeah, I give her a kidney and she still doesn't appreciate it.
I mean, I had one of my favorite classes in college was a philosophy class, and the whole premise of the class, like the entire semester through various topics, was, is there any such thing as a selfless act? And we just had all these different topics to discuss to just be like, at the end of the day, is anything truly selfless? And amazing, she gave a kidney, but maybe the whole time she's like, I'm about to give Selena Gomez my kidney and I'm in forever. She literally has a piece of me, and maybe she just has unreal expectations of what it means to give someone your kidney. I don't know.
I think Taylor Swift's going to write a song about it, probably.
Yeah.
I thought that last night. I brought these two people to the party, and then we were leaving, and I was like, I'm going to ask them if they had a good time, because I wanted to hear them tell me.
For inviting, because you invited them. You wanted the cred.
So, did you guys have fun?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we had a good time.
You're welcome.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there is anything such. I don't think there is a thing as a completely selfless act. Maybe there's some reflective let Francia needs to do. I don't know.
How do you think she wrote it? Did she write it like interesting, like as a joke, or do you think it was like interesting? I want my kidney back.
Or like maybe really interesting. I'm gonna think about this for a second and get back to you.
Like it could have very well been
so crazy.
No?
Thought-provoking.
So crazy to me to put it on the e-news post. Like at that point, forward it to Selena herself and be like, interesting. Like you know what you're doing when you put it on a public
I agree.
platform.
She wants that kidney cred.
Well, but speaking of a public
Cred with a
platform,
K.
Chris Evans dating Alba Baptista, a Portuguese actress. This is like right after, hot off the press of him being sexiest man alive, and also a few months after his comments about how he's looking for that special someone. Do we think that she'll have a big target on her back? Like, do you think...
To get the Olivia Wilde treatment?
Yeah, that's the question, where it's like, because of course I feel like he's so beloved right now in culture. And so is it in a way where people will be happy that he's happy, or like jealous of her?
Those Marvel guys, the people in the Marvel movies seem to like kind of skate by without any drama or anything, right?
They do.
I feel like Harry fans are a different level.
What's that?
Music fans, I think, are a different level.
Harry fans are
right.
in the upper. I mean, those fans are obsessed.
I feel like music fans specifically are a different level of intensity than other, like, fans of movie stars. Harry's a movie star too. Don't want to.
A man of many talents.
It's just like a movie.
Were you in the running for sexiest, or what happened? Did you
I know.
Did you get any of the side prizes? Because they have like sexiest man
honorable
alive.
mention.
Yeah, don't they? They have a whole thing. Because I remember,
there's like
David was in it. He got like cutest smile or something.
Did
like
he?
that.
Yeah. No, I don't.
You didn't get anything.
There was no consideration.
Damn it!
I think
Bullshit. You were robbed.
I think if you're ever on The Bachelor, you
forfeit the right to be on the list.
Yeah, it's
What do you guys think? You think Chris Evans, which is sexiest man alive?
It's pretty hot. Is Chris Evans your hottest, Chris?
Chris Hemsworth.
I think
he's way hotter.
Objectively, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Who would you rather? Aaron, Chris Hemsworth, or Chris Evans? Ellie.
For what purpose?
Sex.
I like Chris Wallace from Fox News. He's hot.
Isn't he at CNN now?
What a pickup. Oh, I don't know. Yeah,
probably Aaron.
Who's Aaron? Your
You're
boyfriend?
joking.
I'm not.
Is that your boyfriend?
It's the guy
Aaron?
in The Bachelor in Paradise.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Danica said no fuck boys.
Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
You mean Kanika?
Protect yourself. Kanika, Danica, whatever.
It's like, is Danica Patrick with us?
She's gonna.
But I guess this is kind of related to, there's been a trend on TikTok for a little while now, the mastermind trend of Taylor's, her recent album, Midnights. One of her song, Masterminds, is kind of about facilitating a romantic relationship and kind of making it seem like it was just a meet cute, when actually there were a lot of things that she planned in order to set it up. And now there's this TikTok trend where people are posting things like ways that they went about making a meet cute, or like facilitating.
Manipulating
Yeah.
their
So
partners into dating them?
Mm.
yeah. So for example, sure. One example is thinking about how my college situationship was taking way too long to ask me to be his girlfriend. So our mutual friend and I came up with a plan where I put her as a fake contact and she called me while I was with him just so I could answer and say, yeah, no, I'm just with my friend. What's up? Close enough that he would hear it. We did it. And later that night, he asked me to be his girlfriend. And I kid you not, he said hearing me answer the phone and say that made him realize he just didn't want to be my friend. Worked like a charm.
Do we want to give credit to this person?
Yes, this is for Jillian and Ryan. Jillian with a G.
Jason, have you ever manipulated someone you loved into giving you what you wanted and you felt that was overall a net positive thing?
No, I'm not that smart. Like, I'm not that cunning at all.
You don't think you're capable of manipulating?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely capable of it, but I never tried to like manipulate someone into liking me because I would just assume that they wouldn't like me anyway. So it's like if they're there, you know what I mean? I don't think so. My last my girlfriend that I have now, though, I can relate to that. When she says hello, that gets me. Even just hello on the phone.
What do you mean?
I don't know. Just like I'm so in love with her. She says hello. It's the way she says hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
How'd she say it?
It's like this. Hello.
You just love it.
I love it. Yeah, she's the best.
Do you think there's a level of, because like that almost sounds harmless, what you just read?
Yeah, it sounds very harmless.
Yeah,
right?
a lot of it is like people being like, oh, we plan to have this person go to the party. And I saw on his Spotify playlist that he was listening to the Smiths. So I wore a shirt.
Right.
Like, it's not like high level Machiavellian, like I'm making him do something. It's more just like kind of getting the ball rolling.
Because like I even in my book, I talk about how to turn your situationship into a relationship if it's ever possible. And in that, it's just like go out on dates, and and eventually this person will hit you up and be like, oh, what are you up to tonight? And you'll be getting ready for a date, which is essentially the same thing as this person, except they just like skipped all that, like trying to go on dates and actually meeting people and just faked the whole thing to try to elicit the same emotional response. And I guess the question is that deceitful or is that just efficient?
I say go for it.
Yeah.
You're
Why
fine with
not?
that.
Yeah.
Would you feel the same if that was done to you?
I wouldn't
fair in
care
love
how
more.
I wouldn't care how they got there if they were interested in me.
Yeah.
I'd be stoked. You know what I mean? Like if I was manipulated into like someone that I loved, I'd be like, oh great. If someone opened my eyes to that.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting,
Because I think it's hard too. Like, like you don't know who the right person is for you, and you can't just tell just looking at them.
well,
all the time.
because I definitely agree. Sometimes we get in our own ways. We get in our own way, and we
Yeah.
can't see the forest of the trees, and especially now with the kind of a paralysis of choice of options. And sometimes we need someone. Natalie was that for me. She's kind of like, hey, we should date. Like, and here's why. And
Yeah.
kind of like
I think guys
metaphorically
need that too. I think guys really need that, where a girl's like, "This is it," and you're like, "Oh, okay, right."
But-
yeah.
But there's definitely a line. I don't know where the line is of like being upfront and honest versus like you lied to me or you manipulated me. I feel like I don't know where that line is, but I feel like people would have a problem with it. They found out they
Probably
got duped.
disguised. That would be if you were like disguised as someone else.
Okay,
I think that's where I draw the line.
it's like how
A wig, he says.
I don't know.
Well, because
I just think it would bother some people.
Sure. I think that on the other hand, it can make people feel very like known. It's like, oh, wow, you really listen and you really care and you're very thoughtful and perceptive in terms of thinking through all of these considerations that I would have, all of these things that I like, all of these places that I would go. Like it shows a lot of effort, which I think is like maybe the positive side of things. It's just like, yeah. I guess the question is it deceitful? Like if you're going to pretend to like this same band that somebody else likes.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's
No, it
like
definitely
it's what
is a little
Kanika would do.
deceitful.
Yeah.
She would.
Kanika would do that. She'd
Kanika's a
pretend.
mastermind.
Yeah, she'd pretend to like the Smiths.
What's your greatest fear?
Dying.
Really?
Are you afraid of dying?
Yeah.
Do you believe in life after death? Is that why you're afraid of it?
Yeah.
Because you're just done?
Yeah.
Have you always?
No, and I got to be. When I just got to be old, I was just like, "There's no way."
I feel like I'm similar to you.
When
I
I-
want to believe. I grew up very Catholic.
Sure,
Yeah.
I'd love to believe it, and I'd love to get there and be like, "Oh
I was
man, I
wrong."
was wrong."
Yeah.
But it doesn't like pragmatically makes sense in my head that would happen.
My dad had an interesting POV, and he was like, even if there is no life after death, I don't think I'll regret living my life in the way I am now, like as a Catholic, as like someone who's like
Sure.
considerate of
Yeah.
others, because he's like, yeah, I'm doing all this in the hopes that one day I'll have eternal life in the way I hope there is. But if not, at least I was a great person.
Yeah.
I always thought that way.
Yeah.
And I still think that way, but I still very much try to be a great person. I just don't go to church every Sunday now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I just, that's the big difference, that I just have more time on Sundays.
Farmer's market?
Yeah, basically. I just
Excellent.
traded one for the other.
Vegetables and-
kind of more relaxing morning on a Sunday.
You ever go down to the Fairfax one?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. I went to a psychic there.
Oh, what'd they tell you?
I don't know. My girlfriend's really into it. I don't know. Just we're going to be together forever and everything's great.
Love it.
I don't there was a medium at our launch party, and I don't believe in that stuff, because if I did, I'd be nuts about it.
Yeah.
I'd be so neurotic.
Are you guys big into signs?
I'm not.
Like
Kinda.
astrology?
Well, no, I
believe
wish
a
I
lot
knew
in that.
more.
My
Yeah.
therapist is.
Yeah?
Darlene.
Darlene is into astrology.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I feel like there's like a New England part of me that still has like a preconceived judgment about it. Like that views it as very separate from other like scientific or psychological
Right.
things. But I'm like, it's pretty harmless. I only when it's like something that I already kind of believe, like confirmation bias, then I love astrology.
What's your sign?
Guess.
I don't know. I don't know a lot about signs.
I know. I wouldn't even know.
I'm an Aquarius.
I know when your birthday is,
Oh,
and
you're
I still don't
Aquarius,
know
yeah.
what
I
it
just
was.
say guess.
So I'm supposed to get along with you very well because I'm a Gemini.
You're a Gemini.
Yeah.
I
And my
Are-
mom's an Aquarius.
Geminis are they
Ah.
supposed to be kind of?
I don't know. I went on Twitter once and it was like, Geminis are the worst. I was like, okay.
The big like buzzword is two-faced,
Yeah. They drop it.
Geminis.
They drop, they change their mind.
but also
Good way to do it.
multidimensional, like charismatic.
Charismatic. Tupac, wasn't he a Gemini?
Bob Dylan is a Gemini.
Very talented.
Kanye's a
Geminis.
Gemini.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Talented.
Very talented.
Are you ready to give some people some unsolicited texting and relationship advice?
Yeah.
Is it
let's go.
unsolicited if they call and ask for
Yeah, you're right. Are you ready to give some people some
it? Solicited?
solicited, unexpert dating advice?
Solicited or unsolicited? Let's
Yeah,
go.
let's
Yeah,
just- let's
I'm
just do
done.
it.
I'm done.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name's Carly. I'm 27 and I'm dealing with somebody who's leaving a lot of breadcrumbs and mixed signals, and I'm trying to figure out if I should shoot my shot. So I'm coming here for some texting help.
Okay. How long you been hanging out with this person? Give us a little backstory.
We're not currently hanging out. We
Okay.
went on a bunch of dates a few months ago and then he cut it off. Amazing dates, at least in my opinion. It felt like it was mutual. We've seen each other once or twice over the past few months. And after a lot of no contact, he followed me on Instagram. And even before then, watched my stories without following me. And, all these things are kind of adding up to me not knowing what to do. And I think I still have feelings. So
How many dates did you go on?
4,
Okay. Did you hook up?
not sex.
Not sex. Okay.
But,
So you messed around a
yeah.
little bit, ran it a
Yeah.
few bases. Okay. And then he just like ghosted, cut it off, or gave you the old, like, I'm not sure if this is working out type of.
We texted a bit, but it was like towards the end, it was kind of sparse and he like left me on red for 2 days. And then when he did answer was like, I think you're so great, but I just don't see this going anywhere.
Okay. And then some
yeah.
time passed. And then what are these breadcrumbing things other than he followed you on Instagram? He watched some of your stories. What else?
That's mainly it. We have some mutual friends and, after he and I had been out of touch, he saw one of my friends out and brought me up, no prompting, like just knowing that she knew me and was just talking about the whole situation, that he was kind of a dick to me at the end of all of it. Just, little things here and there that I would think are really unnecessary, unless there's some sort of like interest still lingering there or something like that. I know I'm reading into things also, but it's still nagging at me.
Yeah. Well, interestingly enough, we just talked to someone earlier who talked about the misuse of empathy.
Mm.
And I can't help but like think about how that applies to this conversation, because it
Mhm.
sounds like he feels bad,
Right.
And I think a lot of times in these dating situations, especially if you have mutual friends,
We do.
Yeah.
Let's start with how old is he and what does he do? And does he live in your town or where?
Yeah, we're both in New York. He's 30. I want to say real estate tech type thing. I didn't really understand it when he explained it.
Is he somebody that goes on a lot of dates and sees a lot of women?
Probably a normal amount. I know that like a lot of his friends are already married. I think he's probably like the last single one. I don't know if that means he dates so much, but like probably the same amount I do, which is solid.
Right.
So he was watching, you noticed him watching your stories before he followed you. Then he followed you and now he's following you and still watching some of your stories?
Yeah.
I don't think there's much there.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I logically know that.
Okay.
Like, I'm so aware that I'm like grasping at straws here, but like, at least for me, I go on a lot of dates that are like a snooze fest and like I don't connect with people right away. And we connected really, really well and had so much in common and this and that. And like that, maybe I'm building that up way more than what it was. But
not
to me, it was like really special.
So I think I don't have any problem with you like reshooting your shot, but I think you want to reframe what exactly are you're doing, because it almost seemed like at first it was, you know, like you said, how you opened it. It's just like, well, this person's giving me mixed signals. I don't know if they are giving me mixed signals.
He saw your story and he followed you.
Yeah,
that's what we have to go.
He's just trying to be nice. He's like, hey, we're friends.
Like,
we ended things.
But if you went on a bunch of dates with somebody and ended it, and then like, would you follow? Like, to me, that's crazy. Like, why would you want anything to do with me? It's
crazy. I'm only guessing here, but it probably feels crazy to you because you liked him. So you're thinking, oh, why would I'm not going to follow him. My only interest in this guy is the potential of a romantic relationship. And so you're just like, I would never, you know, think that, because you're the one who kind of feels a bit powerless in this situation because you wanted to keep hanging out. And again, I'm just guessing here, but I think especially a lot of guys nowadays, they're so afraid of being a dick or an asshole. And there's certainly guys who care, you know, like, you know, there's certainly plenty of guys maybe don't give a shit, but I think there's still a lot of great guys out there who date imperfectly, who maybe aren't the most mature or best communicators, but are well-intentioned. And he might just be a well-intentioned, you know, fuckboy, I guess, you know, still a fuckboy potentially. And maybe just because he hasn't found his person. And you know, you had a couple nice dates. Then he kind of awkwardly gave you the whole, like, I'm not sure this is what I'm looking for. And then he came across, you know, your Explorer page because you have some mutual friends. And you're like, I'll give her a follow and see what she's doing. And he probably, you know, thinks you are a nice person. So he's thinking, what's wrong with having a nice person who I'm cool with? Because we often, you know, I think society tells ourselves, especially I think often men are judged for their ability to, like, we always say how it's bad to like criticize your exes, right? And talk shit about your exes. So I think especially men, I think we might, and you tell me what you think, it's like a red flag for us if we don't have good relationships with our exes. It's like, who did you date, who you're cool with or you're friends with? Because like, that means you're emotionally mature or anything like that. So he could be overthinking like, well, I'm mature, I'm cool, I can be friends with someone I want to date with. See, we're still cool. You know, I handled it the right way. And that could literally just be the reason.
Have you thought about turning yourself into a sociopath?
From time to time.
We have someone exactly you can follow.
Yeah. Like, I have really thought about playing the game or just like cutting the bullshit and reaching out, like playing the game and following back and see if that like was a little encouragement for him to actually reach out to me if that's what he was going for. And if not, like, if I followed him and he did nothing, would I just be doubly as upset? Should I just reach out and get an answer so I can move on one way or another? I think that's what's going on up here.
I think you should be super bold.
Yeah.
Do what you want. Get it out of the way. Have Nick, he's the master. Have him write you a great text. Do it. Have no expectations about it. Just be like, this is it. I'm shooting my shot. This guy is fucking lucky to be with me. And lots of times, guys are like a little dumb. Because I know I can. Guys are a little dumb when it comes to that stuff. They may not see what's right in front of them. And so if you go in there super strong, and just like, this is it. This is what I think. Take it or leave it, Jack. And then move on. And be prepared for like, oh yeah, you know, It's not. It's. I really like. What I think is, I think he really likes her. He thinks she's really funny. He thinks she's really cool. He just maybe doesn't want a romantic thing.
Yeah, maybe
Right.
he's not. It could be a million. Like it could be a million things
Yeah.
of why he decided not to. Right. Like to Jason's
Yeah.
point.
But that can also change too. You
Right.
you probably have a lot of things that he loves about you, and maybe he's not ready to commit. But I think if you go in there strong, and also I don't give dating advice, so don't listen to me. But this is what I think right now.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think that ultimately it's great advice by Jason. I think
I agree.
the important thing is when you reach out to him is to not bring up the questions that you have. I don't think you have to know that there's nothing to ask him other than what you're not even really asking him anything. You're re-engaging
That's why
him.
I've been stalling also.
Yeah,
because I don't know what my question is.
I don't think you have a question. It's more of a, hey, I've thought about this and I think you should reconsider. It's a pitch, really. You're basically
like,
pitching
and
him.
you would say that all over text and not just be like, hey, want to catch up over a drink and then say it there.
I don't know.
I don't know the approach.
Yeah, I definitely don't think, I want you to get it out of your head that there's nothing to reach out to him and be like, hey, I feel like you're giving me mixed signals, or why are you,
Yeah,
you know,
I don't wanna do
nothing like that. I think you go in with the mindset, kind of like Jason said, of this guy, nothing's changed in his mind. And I think if you reach out, you got to have that expectation of he's just kind of like, wait, I already told you I'm not interested. This is more
Right.
like you being really bold, like Jason said, and saying, hey, I know you told me this, but hear me out.
Yeah.
I'm going to be super vulnerable.
Oh, no.
What? You don't think
I don't think it's like that. I think it's like, hey, what's up? The Strokes are playing Friday night, and I have 2 tickets, or I don't know what goes on in New York anymore, but I'm dating myself. But and I have this thing. Do you want to go? You think it should just be like, yo, I love you.
No,
Fucking,
not I love you.
Let's go.
I gotta love you. But like, I think if she does that, he might be confused as to like, am I saying yes as a friend because I've already told
Right.
her I don't want to date?
Oh,
or
right.
she,
You're right.
Or like,
You're right. That's why you're good at this.
or like, did she not listen the first time? You know, like
That's gonna leave her in the same limbo.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So I think she does have to be bold. I don't think she should profess her love. I think she should say, you could reach out and say, I don't know the best way. I don't think there is a best way.
Mhm.
I mean, I think if you text him, you should be playful. Like,
Is he seeing anybody? Like, is he
Not
serious?
that I
with
know of.
anybody?
I really try not to watch his Instagram stories as often as I can.
I agree with your point of if you
I think
just
he could
ask,
do better.
if you ask him out for another date, he's
So
gonna
do all my
think
friends.
he's gonna think like, oh, did she not listen, or is this just as friends? You're saying all your friends think you can do better. So what do you have to lose by literally just throwing it
To
back
be
out there
fair-
and knowing for a fact?
Adding in something that might be a little more embarrassing for me, it's been a really long time. Like, we're coming up on a year.
of like hooking
the
up with someone?
Instagram follow was over the summer, and I have just been so paralyzed with what to do that I've done absolutely nothing. And like months later, now I'm coming here.
What's been going on
Since
for a
they
year?
were together.
Since we
Oh.
went out.
Okay.
Like, it's an embarrassingly long time.
No, that's
But,
actually,
like-
I think that's it makes you seem less like obsessive in a way. Like if it was a month later, that's like,
Right.
whoa, girl.
And like for a long time, I wasn't thinking about him. I was dating other people and,
Exactly.
working on it and over it. And like the Instagram follow pulled me back in because it was so out of the blue. And now I'm just like still going on dates and trying to meet other people. But I'm just like, whenever it's I'm like, you know what would have been great? This guy.
Maybe.
Okay, so yeah.
Maybe. I build it up,
You
of
have
course.
rose-colored
but, like,
glasses of the past, totally, because you're in a lull and it's easy to like fantasize about someone you felt comfortable with and liked.
Sure.
But in that way, it's like I just feel like you have to be explicit because or else, yeah, to Nick's point, he's gonna think you either weren't on the same page or maybe he's agreeing to it as a friend.
Right.
But you also have to know that his answer very well might be the same as it was a year ago.
And I think like even though I know closure in general is like something I just have to do for myself, I'm like a real closure person. And like even if it's no, hearing no from him one more time would be like, okay, now you're done.
Okay.
Which
I
would
think-
help me.
Yeah, so I think the key is maybe making it erring on the side of slightly more high key, slightly more datey, just so that way it actually resonates for you as like this is a conclusive answer.
Yeah.
I feel like not even like pitching a date, like literally just flat out saying, hey, I know it's been a while.
I think you just hit him with a hey stranger.
Oh my God.
But then she
That's
has to
very
cut
bold.
to the chase at some point.
Well, assuming he replies,
Uh-huh.
he's like, "What's up? What have you been up to? Nothing." And
But
then
also, you don't think that comes off as like more casual, less like if we're doing this, it's a relationship or nothing kind of thing?
I don't
Like, I don't want to just hook up with him. Like,
I'm just saying, say a hey stranger. I'm just an it's just an opener. Kind of like
Right.
Jason said. I don't think you should hit him with like a long paragraph of I think I
No.
love you or we should be
No,
boyfriend and
no, no.
girlfriend. You haven't talked to this guy in how long? A year?
we saw each other at a wedding the beginning of the summer.
Okay. So you haven't seen him in months.
A few months.
Did he take anyone to the wedding?
No.
He went alone.
You
Yeah.
were at the same wedding.
Yeah.
And how did that go?
Our mutual friend. It was like he came over to me and said hi, and we had a nice conversation, but it was like anticlimactic to say the least. And I was like, okay, if anything's going to rekindle, it's going to be here. And it wasn't.
Okay.
But I'm also like, it's somebody else's wedding. Maybe not the time to have a serious conversation, you know?
No, it's definitely the time to rekindle. Is that wedding?
Yeah, it's the most romantic place you could be.
Not a Jewish wedding necessarily.
Okay.
I don't know.
They're not that romantic.
I think you just got to go for it.
Hey,
It sounds
stranger.
like this is more about
Catch
you
up.
just getting the closure you need because
Yeah.
for whatever reason you've been hung up on this guy. Listen, and it sucks. I'm sorry you haven't met anyone else in this past year that really has like knocked you off your feet. But
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard us say over and over like that doesn't mean he's any better than he was before.
Right.
You just unfortunately, people can go 6 months, 12 months, 14 months without an exciting date. And that just speaks to like how hard it is to find that one person that you get excited about, which will make it all that more exciting when you meet that person. But I think you have the right mindset, which is fully prepare yourself that he's probably not interested. He probably hasn't missed you. The follow and the stories are just more. It took minimal effort to do any of those things.
Right.
He does like you. He thinks you're nice.
Mm-hmm.
He would be your friend. He's cool with you. He also, more importantly, likes the idea that you're cool with him.
Right. Probably.
And I think that's probably more the case. But if you're willing to put yourself out there with a high probability that you're going to get the same answer, hey, if nothing else, it's good to practice rejection. I think, truly.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's where I am. Like, it's been enough already. Like, I'm annoyed with me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like now or never kind of thing.
So hit him with the hey stranger, see if he replies back. And then
what's the follow-up?
Call me crazy, or maybe this might seem out of nowhere, but
Well, what if he doesn't text back on Hey Stranger?
then you got an answer.
True.
Ouch.
No, but if
If he doesn't text
Yeah.
back, I mean, give him a day or two.
Yeah.
But
Wait, but finish that follow-up text.
yeah, it's some version of, hey, this might sound out of left field, or this might cut you off guard, but what do you say about like grabbing a drink sometime? You could keep it that simple. If you wanted to give him a little more information so it's not awkward, you could say, this might sound like a little like out of left field, but like it's been a long time since we went out, but I still haven't had as good of a time hanging out with someone as I had with you. And I'm curious if you feel the same.
Mm.
And would you be interested
Right.
in going out again? I mean, you're putting yourself, it's a very vulnerable thing for you to say.
Yeah.
You're really putting yourself out there.
I also don't love texting. But is this crazy just to call him?
Oh my gosh.
It's just a lot of
I
pressure.
couldn't.
Why?
Oh my God. It's so not I couldn't.
You couldn't.
I would clam up. No
but,
way.
but aren't you setting yourself up for like all this like not really knowing still by texting? If you could really talk to him, hear it in his voice, like.
Well, that's why I kind of agree, like maybe like meeting for a drink and having whatever conversation there.
I see what
Makes
you're
sense.
saying, Jason, but I think he's going to get this message and be caught off guard, even the first one. And then if she gets this like follow-up message of like, hey, I think you should reconsider. I think he needs to marinate this. I think if she
Right, right.
What
randomly
about-
calls him and says this, he's not going to know what to say. he's gonna have to like think about this at a minimum, or talk to some friends and be like, should I do this? Is this
Right.
nuts? You know?
I found a
fair
text
enough.
of someone who slid back into my text like a year after we ended things.
Mm.
And it says, hey, weird flex, but I've been attracted to you since we matched. Hasn't ever really seemed to be the right time, but was wondering if you'd want to go on a date anytime soon. If not, totally cool with just being friends. Haha. And sent a gif of them shooting their shot.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
I kind of like that one.
That's good.
Take it. I don't know
Can
who
you
it's
send that to
I don't
me?
know who it's from,
no, I
but
don't.
you can
I don't
take
think
it.
you should copy it. I don't like.
No, not word for word. No.
Just say. But yeah. But like.
So, or like, yeah,
I
like,
think you should emphasize how much you enjoyed spending time with him. That's because that's what you're trying. That's ultimately why you feel the way you do, because you
Yeah.
had 4 dates
I had
and
an
they
amazing
were, and they
time
were
with him.
really fun, and you felt more connected with him than anyone else. And you're
Mhm.
and the actual question is, the thing you don't have an answer to that is bugging you, is wondering it, despite him a year ago, rejecting you. Has he also not really connected with someone? And based off of not connecting with someone just like you for the past year, is he also willing to reconsider how much fun you hope he also had with you? And see that, because that's the question.
Yeah,
So that's what you should say.
we're officially going for hey stranger, not
Why
just
not?
like hey.
The important thing is there's no magic text that's going to convince him to go out with you, and there's nothing
Yeah.
you can say that's going to like. So just keep it simple. Hey, stranger, sounds chill enough.
Okay.
And then-
I don't love Hey Stranger.
What do you like?
I just think Hey Stranger's like, what?
What do you want?
That's where I was going.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's
Yeah.
amazing. I just think
It's
it's
okay, it's okay.
basic.
It doesn't.
I mean, it's all basic if you're saying hi, hey, what's up? It's all.
Well, hi after a year is.
yeah.
I think you would need to acknowledge that you haven't talked.
something weird about
What
Hey
was-
Stranger.
what was the last text like that you sent to one another? Like when you're in the
Please
thread
do not
typing?
contact me anymore.
Let me pull it up. He sent the anti-ghost, basically, like, you're awesome. I'm sorry if I led you on. I just don't see this going much further. And I said, hey, I'm definitely a little surprised. I wasn't really getting that vibe in person, but I understand if that's how you feel. And that was it.
Huh. And you never talked after that?
Well, we
What's
saw
there
each
to
other at
talk
this
about?
wedding.
Yeah, but
It was just like friendly catching up.
I mean, if you really wanted to be bold, you could send him a text being like, just out of curiosity, do you still feel this way?
Yeah,
With-
like reply to that message. Like reply to that
Oh,
message.
yeah,
that's good. I like
because
That's
and then you
fun.
say, because if I'm being honest,
Because you sure view my Instagram
no,
story.
no.
Okay.
You just say, because if I'm being honest, I haven't had as much fun with anyone else since then as I've had with you, and I'm wondering if you feel the same.
I really like that, actually.
I like
All right,
it.
let's do
I like
that.
it. Let's do it.
All right, so reply to that text.
Okay. Am I sending it right now?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
This is what I need.
Yay, we're so proud of you. And then you need to go open a bottle of wine.
Oh my God, I'm at work.
Yeah. Good
We're
job.
proud of you.
All right.
That was crazy.
How do you feel?
How do you? Yeah.
Like relieved.
Yeah, right.
Because I've been telling myself to do this for the longest time, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll do it next week, like after the holidays, after this,
You're
and
You're just going for clarity here. No
Yeah.
one way or the
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
It's going to be
my
fun.
heart is pounding out of my chest, but I guess that's a good thing.
Well, congratulate yourself for doing something brave and bold, because it's not easy to do, and it's not easy to be
Thank you.
vulnerable, and you realize you're taking a risk. And either way, this is going to give you peace of mind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, I always equate rejection to like having the stomach flu.
Mhm. And the chances are that this guy is like your one and only,
Slim to none.
you don't know,
You don't know.
there's
Right.
there's someone someone probably way better out there for you that isn't, doesn't have their head in their ass.
And it's also
Right.
completely normal to go, like everyone, I don't care who you are. There's so many people out there listening to this who also haven't been on a date in over a year, who they got excited about someone.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make him any more special than he was. I mean, like,
Mm.
he just, but the good news is it shows you that you can be excited about people, and
Yeah.
on some level that's the thing. We always get discouraged, but it should be fewer and far between than more. Like if it was happening every other
Right.
date, then there's something wrong with your picker, because not everyone should be that exciting or fun.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
All
Best
right.
of luck. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
How's it going?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
I'm Stephanie, and I'm 25 years old.
How can we help, Stephanie?
And what I need your help with is I have been in a situationship for probably 3 months now. And what I really want is to effectively exit the situationship. And I want to like formulate a text to send to this guy that is basically saying like, either take this seriously or never talk to me again.
That's what you want to say to him.
Yeah, in like nicer words, I think.
Why do we want to be nicer?
Because I do like him is the thing, and like
I mean, I'm not saying you should be mean, but why are you so worried about being nice?
That's a good question. I think I don't want to sound crazy.
And when you say you're worried about sounding crazy, what do you mean?
Well, I don't want him to be like, this girl's nuts, because truth be told, like I haven't done a good job of like communicating what I want out of the situation or relationship, even though I think it's pretty clear. So it might like he could spin it in a way that says like, oh, this is coming out of nowhere. You've never said this before to me, even though I don't think he's dumb. Like I think he knows.
Yeah, but you need to communicate what you want. It's only been 3 or 4 months. What in your mind, what makes it a situationship?
So from the time that we started talking and spending time together, like we've seen each other pretty consistently, like once or twice a week, but we don't go on dates. Like we just kind of Netflix and chill. And that's always like his idea. And we text a little bit, but it kind of like is right before we see each other, and then we see each other and it drops off. And then he'll mostly like communicate with me on Snapchat other than that.
Sure.
So it just feels very casual. And like, from the beginning, I did not say what I wanted, and that is definitely on me. And I just kind of like got away from me. And now I'm like, okay, what do I do? Like, I need to stop this cycle of what's going on.
Okay. So you recognize that every time he asked you to Netflix and chill or Snapchat, there was something inside that said to you, I don't like this, or I don't like the direction it was going. But instead of saying that or addressing or giving an expectation, you just kind of went along with it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Because like I do want to spend time with him. I do like hanging out with him and like Netflix and chilling. Like there's nothing wrong with that. It's fun, sure. But like I know obviously it's not leading to anything productive, and it's not dating by any means.
Doesn't this sound like a conversation and not a text?
Yeah, I agree with Jason. That's what I'm about to say. I don't think you should text this, because it does sound like it would come out of nowhere.
And it could be misconstrued as a text, because you're being like really nice and you're recognizing your part in this as well. And I don't know if that'll come off in text, but when you explain it, I think you probably get a lot further.
Yeah. And I don't even think at this point, I don't know if it's even necessary for you to, I don't think you need to like, this conversation isn't about like, well, you only asked me to Netflix and chill and you only Snapchat and I hate that. I think it's not really productive to talk about what he has done. I think it's more productive for you to just finally communicate what you want out of this. So I think next time you get together,
that's really good advice.
I think, or maybe, how about you just try asking him out for one? Make a plan with him.
Yeah.
What do you want to do with him?
Go to Red Lobster.
Really go out, like go to dinner. I feel like that would be a good first step.
So how about text him? How about we'll send a text, and that text is, how about dinner this weekend?
Okay.
You like
And
that?
See what he says. If he, if he gives you the, oh, I don't know, I'm busy, then you can follow it up with, well, at that point, I really wouldn't say anything. If he kind of does the whole situationship fuckboy kind of answer and is flaky, I don't think you respond to that. I think you then wait for him to finally reach out to you via whatever. And if he says, hey, what are you doing tonight? He reaches out to you like last minute. Do you want to come over? And I think you just very chill and politely, it's interesting. Like you said, well, I don't want to sound crazy. And I was talking to some friends at an event, and they were like, oh, we were talking about defining a relationship or a situationship. And I was like, never ask, you just tell them what you want. And they're like, well, doesn't that sound crazy? I'm like, it's not about what you say, it's how you say it, you know? So as long as you're just like very chill and very like confident, but like, hey man, it's not a big deal. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I'm just like, this is just what I want, you know? And that's cool if you don't want it, but like, I just don't want to do this anymore. And that's fine. But like,
Yeah.
I'm just kind of done doing X, Y, and Z. So if you ask him out to dinner and he doesn't reply or gives you some kind of fuckboy energy, don't say anything. And then he's going to try to keep doing and maintaining the same thing he's done before. And that's when you hit him with like, hey, like I'm just like not down to do that anymore. I would love to go out to dinner with you. And here's why, because like, I've really enjoyed my time with you. And I just like, I want to like move it in a direction towards something and just kind of keep it vague, because I like agree with Jason. There's no point in getting into it with him via text because
Yeah.
you're going to get defensive. But ideally you send him a text. How about dinner this weekend? And hopefully he's like, sounds great. And like, you make the plan. Stop worrying about whether he's going to take, like, this is your initiative. Like, so follow through with this whole plan. You know, hey, have some ideas of where you'd like to go to dinner. Just really take the initiative here. This one's on you. And when you have him at dinner, just be honest. I like you. I've really enjoyed getting to know you. And I'd like to see where it goes.
I think my concern is that to oh, do you want to go to dinner? He would either be like, oh no, like I've had a really busy week, like at work, I just want to chill out. Or he just like would simply never respond. But I do think that if he chose to not respond, he would hit me up a week later and pretend I never asked and be like,
Right.
hey, want to Netflix and chill tonight?
Right.
So like maybe there's just no hope. And that's like another question I have is like, how do you, I mean, granted, like I've said, like you've said, I haven't given him the chance to like tell me what he wants. But like, how do you determine like there's no point even?
I think before we start worrying about that, I think this would, if nothing else, this is great practice for you, because you really, it sounds like you need to get better at communicating what you want out of any dating situation. And you need to get better at saying that more early on and stop accepting things that deep down you don't even want to do. You know, and you're saying yes to it because you're hoping it leads to something that you do want rather than just stating what you want. So just get this, think of this guy in this situation as nothing else than practice, and maybe you'll be surprised. But yeah, before you start, you know, snowballing what it could be or should be, or, you know, what's the point, you know, because if most likely, unfortunately, the dating game is a lot of this anyways. And until you get better at communicating your expectations, my guess is you're going to find yourself in a lot of these situations.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. And that is something that I have taken from this, because I've never like been in a situationship before. This is new territory for me, unfortunately. At 25, I feel like I've escaped it thus far. But
where did you meet this guy?
We matched on Hinge, which is also like a struggle. And like we do have like so many mutual friends, and like it seemed so promising from the get-go, which is why I kind of let my guard down and just like let it go. Where it like I was like, let's just see where this goes. But it became pretty clear pretty fast that it wasn't going anywhere.
I don't think any real damage has been done. And as I always said, like most situationships don't turn in relationships, but they do when that person just shows them that you're someone who's not going to accept less than what they want. And when you do it like very chill, in a very chill and confident way about like, listen, it's cool, but like, I'm just kind of done with this. And I'm not mad. I just don't want it anymore. It was fun. Thanks for the, you know, good sex or the cool hang or whatever it was, but like it's ran its course, you know, and maybe you're not in a position to give me what I want, you know, like I always love when, women say that to men, because doubt them. That's a great way to get them to, I don't believe in you. But in a way, you know what I'm saying? Like
that works.
Yeah, it does. But if he believes, the trick is he has to believe that you really are over it, that you don't need him, that you're not going to miss him, that you are going to say no next time, and that you're someone who is, and people love it when, oh, she knows what she wants, she's confident in this. He's going to be more willing to see. And if he doesn't believe that, he won't. He'll think exactly what you're worried about, that he'll just ignore it and see if you give in. He's going to wait. He's going to hope that eventually he's going to reach out when you're bored enough to say yes.
Yeah.
And his boredom will match your boredom.
Uh-huh. I think that's been like the thing that's bothered me so much is like, why wouldn't he continue acting this way? And like, why would he respect me or my time when I like have not given him a reason to do so? Which is kind of, and I agree this wouldn't like translate over text as well as it would in person, but like I kind of just like want to stand up for myself a little bit.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm doing that through putting my foot down and just being like, hey, like this isn't gonna work. It's fine if it doesn't, but
yeah,
me,
but
I'm
make sure
done.
you're not projecting just try not to project onto him, you know? Like I want you
Yeah.
to stand up for yourself. But like I said, I don't really think you've only been dating this guy for a couple months.
Mhm.
He hasn't really done anything wrong per se, because you haven't communicated really anything with him. And he's just more interested in a casual thing because, well, you've been willing to do the casual thing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, and how old is he?
25.
Yeah. So like most young men nowadays, unless they're forced to make tough choices,
He's an idiot.
they're not making tough choices. They're just kind of like, oh, I can, I don't have to commit to anything. I don't have to make choices. I can go out with you and go out with her. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah. I agree with you. I
guys
think
should make an effort for sure.
yeah, but
It's bad.
let them know that you want them to make an effort. But, you know, right now, I think focus on you make the effort. Give him an example of the type of energy you want in this relationship. So do the thing that you want him to emulate, and then communicate going forward what you're willing. You know, it's basically a very chill conversation of, if you want to keep seeing me, this is what I want.
Yeah.
And if you don't, no biggie.
Why don't you try right now? Tell Nick, pretend Nick's the guy, and go ahead and say what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
Call him on the
Role
phone.
play.
Nick, pick here. Okay, the phone's ringing.
Hi.
Ring.
Okay.
Say hello, Nick. Say hello.
Like this is
Hello.
what I would say at dinner.
I said hi.
Oh, okay. We're at dinner.
Yeah, we're at dinner.
Okay, and scene.
Okay. Okay. So I've just been thinking, and I really have enjoyed getting to know you and spending time with you. And I'm just curious, like, if you're interested in actually dating or like what's going on. And I personally am looking for a relationship, and I'm wondering if you are, and if you're not, I don't think that we should see each other anymore. And it's totally fine if you're not.
It's not
that's
bad.
what I want.
That's really good.
It's not bad.
I thought for a first run,
For a first
Thank
run,
you.
it
it
was
was really
pretty
good.
solid.
Really solid. She's just gotta.
Practice.
But how about this? So like, hey, I've really enjoyed getting to know you. It's been a lot of fun. I think there's some good stuff here.
Okay.
I think you should just tell him what you want. I don't think there should be a question in there at all.
No questions.
Okay, try it again. Try it again. Go.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm looking for a relationship. I no longer want to Netflix and chill all the time. And if that's what you want as well, great. And if it's not, great too. We just won't see each other again if not.
Great.
Yeah,
Also, now
better.
sprinkle in there what you like about him so far. Why do you think you should have fun? Why do you think it's fun? And why do you think he should keep hanging out with you?
Well, I enjoy hanging out with you because I think we have a lot in common and we have fun when we're together and we have the same interests, and all of those things are what I look for in a partner.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So some version of that.
Yeah.
I just don't think you should ask a question. I think it's
Okay,
just, it comes
that's
across
good
way more
advice.
stronger when you're just like, this is what I like about you, and this is what I want, and and I'd love for you to meet me there.
Mm-hmm.
And just try
Okay.
that.
And then have a mariachi band come out
Yeah.
at dinner
Yeah.
and play
Obviously.
a song. And,
Also, like, if you do go out to dinner, go enjoy the dinner, have fun, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe do it at the end of dinner.
at the end of dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I agree.
You might go on this date and realize halfway through the date, it's like, oh, you know what? Not even worth it.
You're right.
Yeah. That is like one of the things though, because like I've spent a lot of time with him, but it's all like casual at home, like watching TV and other stuff. So it's not like we're really like doing the dating thing. So I don't even know that much about him truly.
There you go. And again,
Yeah.
this is not about you like proposing to him. You're just like, I just don't want to do this anymore. That's
Mhm.
all.
Yeah. Okay,
But
yeah.
I like this dinners and dates and like you showing an interest in me. I like that.
Mhm.
I'd love more of that.
Yeah.
That's not crazy at all. It's not crazy saying what you want. you
Mm-mm.
know? And if
No,
and
it's
if a
not.
guy thinks that's crazy, he's not your guy. That's just a
You're
guy who's
right.
not looking for someone who has expectations. And people who find your expectations inconvenient are just fuckboys.
Yes, I very much agree.
So stating your expectations is a great way to weed out fuckboys in situationships.
Yeah.
And that's just what
Yeah,
I
I think that's
want you to
very
focus
true.
on.
Yeah, for sure gonna focus on that in the future. I am not gonna let it get this far
All right.
next time.
Well, I think you should text him now. How about dinner next week?
Okay, I will consider doing that today.
Come on.
No,
it,
I
do it.
can't do it right now, but I will think about it. I really
Okay.
will.
Okay. Well, let us know what you decide to do.
I will. I definitely will. Thank
All
you
right.
so much
All right,
for
keep
all
us
of your
updated.
Be
help.
strong, Stephanie.
I will.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
See you
Take care.
later. Oh, both callers were great,
Yeah. Jason.
except for the first one. I'm just kidding. No, they were both great.
It's been a pleasure.
Been a pleasure, Nick. Thanks so much. I'll call you with my own dating problems off air.
Anytime.
Yeah,
I'm here for you, buddy.
wonderful.
Where can all the people listen and watch your podcast, all the other great things you're doing?
Oh, right on YouTube on my channel, Jason Nash Comedies, my podcast and videos, and yeah, they're all there. Just search Jason Nash, All Good Things Podcast.
All right.
Mhm.
It's been a really joy getting to know you over
Yeah,
the
it's
past
been
couple
really
months.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hope to do more of
we
it.
should take a nice plunge or something.
Yeah. Get cold together, warm each other up. Or we could just double date.
I'll do that. Yeah. Do you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think our girlfriends would like each other?
Would they like each other? Yes.
Great.
Yeah, they would.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to send in your questions at asknickacademy.com. Check out Jason's amazing podcast. I was on it a few weeks ago. He also has Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
Some other amazing
Julie Bowen.
stars. Yeah, Julie Bowen.
Who else?
You get some great guests, man.
We're trying.
You're crushing it. We are back next week.
Leonardo DiCaprio's coming on Monday.
Really?
Yeah, man. He just wants to come in and just kind of just open up.
Really just talk about his dating.
Yeah, he wants to talk about his dating life and all his roles, and
Good for you,
he
man.
chose me.
Did you go to his birthday party?
Oh, yeah, I threw it.
Good for you, man.
I was there. Mhm.
You've really made it.
Pretty awesome. Well, me and Bobby threw it.
Sure.
Bobby De Niro.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
No, I got it. Yeah.
I'm wasting your time at this point.
No, you're not.
Okay.
Jason, you never wasted my time.
Okay.
Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to send in those questions. We will see you back on Monday. Hey guys, thanks for watching, but before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos like our Mondays Ask Nick for your favorite relationship stories and advice, and our Tuesday Bachelor recaps. See you next time.